Okay. Oh, we're finally here. Okay. I am so sorry that this took a long time. It's been delayed twice, so I am a bit late to the party. But welcome everybody to the 100 subscriber special for this channel. It is an Ark all creatures tier list. I actually been wanting to do a tier list like this for a long time because, you know, I sort of liked watching tier lists, you know, on YouTube and all that, and I was like, hey, what if I do one at some point? And I can't really do a Q&A because I don't have that big of a following, and I can't really do anything else that's a lot special. So I was just like, you know what, the tier list is probably the easiest thing I could do for a 100 sub special. But not only that, it's a pretty big tier list. If I scroll down here, you can see that there's a lot of creatures in here. Now, I am going to say something. This is just an Ark Survival Evolved tier list, so it's not an Ark Survival Ascended one. You might be like wondering, okay, so why is there an Ark Shelly on here? I think that's what that guy's name. Well, that's because I'm including the creatures from Ark Editions, which, if you didn't know, the creatures like the Acro or the Brachy or the Ark Shellion is actually from a mod from Ark Survival Evolved called Ark Editions, and I actually wanted to include those because I think they really fit with the game, and I actually am kind of glad that they added it in ASA, even though I can't, you know, play ASA. But I'm actually kind of glad that, you know, they did that because those creatures really do feel like they are in the game. So yeah, I'm deciding to do a Ark tier list because, you know, I don't know, I've been wanting to do an Ark tier list for so long, and I've just been wanting to do a tier list for a while, honestly, and I couldn't really find a better way to do a 100 sub special than to do this. I know it might be lame to some of you, but at the same time, it is a big tier list, and this is going to be a long video, so sit back, relax, and enjoy some bullshit, because I'm about to talk some shit with some of these creatures, and I'm also about to talk some good stuff about them. Now, I will say this, since all of the background footage is deleted, I'll try my best to kind of, you know, explain what each creature does and, you know, rank them by that thing. Also, let me add a new tier to this. All right, there's my tier. So S tier is the motherfucking OG. A is, you know, fire, you know, that's a pretty fire, you know, creature. B is, you know, pretty cool, you know, I kind of like them. C tier is alright, you know, I mean, it's not like, you know, an amazing creature, but, you know, it's good. D is like, you know, I mean, I don't really care, but, you know, they could exist. And F is dog shit, where I wish they never existed. I wish they'd just burn in hell. That's all I gotta say. Let's start off with the Achatina. This guy, personally for me, I would say he's pretty alright. And the reason why I say that is because if you don't know what the Achatina does, when you put the Achatina on Wandering, they produce Achatina paste, which is like another form of cementy paste, which, you know, is pretty cool. But there's a part of me that's kind of like, yeah, that's cool. I'd rather just get a Beelzebub and like go to like a cave full of like of those little bugs and all that and just kill a bunch of them. Like, for an example, on the island, I actually live near the cave now. There's the I think the swamp cave is what it's called. It's like the lake, the cave that is near that lake that I live in my Ark series. It's the Redwoods Lake. It's the cave that's near there. And if you go in there and you know you get a gas mask and all that, dude, bring a Beelzebub in there and you get a shit ton of cementy paste. Like, it is nuts. And I think it's situations like that where I'm just kind of like, I mean, yeah, an Achatina would be nice to get, but I don't really see the point of it. But like, I understand for like people who would want to get an Achatina. It's passive cementing base. Yeah, I think the Achatina deserves a C because, you know, I could see its use, but I'm not gonna go on my way to tame it. Also, by the way, maybe I should explain the rules here. I am going based off of how useful the dino is. Another thing I'm going based off is, like, you know, their strengths. You know, like, are they pretty good at like killing things? Are they, you know, is their, you know, abilities actually like game changing? Like, if you tame these guys, are they game changing? Like, that's what I mean by strengths and all that. Another thing I'm gonna base off of them is probably their, you know, physical appearance. Like, do I think they look cool? But that's like a very minor, like a minor thing. So it's not going to change how I think about them that much. The last thing is, are they iconic? to Ark Survival Evolved. Okay, the Amargasaurus. I actually played with this guy. By the way, I tried out all these creatures recently because I was going to have background footage, but I kind of have the general gist of what they do. I don't know exactly what they do, so keep that in mind. I don't know exactly everything about the creature. Like, I didn't do a lot of research on them, but I know like a general gist. So I know this guy kind of sort of shoots like spikes, and like they're different elements. Like it's weird. Like, this guy is he shoots like a fire. He's able to like shoot out his spikes, and like they could turn into like a certain element. Like, for an example, he has a fire spike. He has like a ice one, I think, and the fire one is actually really good. But I think the ice one, it heals your dinos from what I remembered. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the fire one does a shit ton of damage if you like kind of stack it up on top of each other. At least that's what I've noticed when I was playing around with this guy. I was like really trying. This guy's pretty confusing in my opinion, because I was trying to figure out like, you know, what he does, and I kind of got the general gist a little bit, but again, I don't fully know. I'm going to rank the Amargasaurus, at least for now, in B tier, because I think he's a pretty cool creature, but I just don't really have the use or see the use of him yet. I'm pretty sure at some point when I eventually go and tame an Amargasaurus in my, you know, long-lasting Ark series, I'm pretty sure I'll probably, you know, check him out and actually fully see what he does. And that's the thing, this tier list, we can always go back and change it in a future video. So I know that his taming method is a pain in the ass, so at least that's what people were saying. I don't know how to tame him, but I was reading about it, and it kind of does sound like a pain in the ass. Okay, Allosaurus. Oh man, the Allosaurus. I really like the Allosaurus. I think these guys are so good. They're actually like pretty good for boss fights too. They're good for boss fights. They do a lot of damage when they're in like a little pack, which is crazy. It's crazy to think that these guys are sort of pack animals and they get a buff when they are in the pack. But on top of that, they do a shit ton of damage. It's crazy. Honestly, I'm gonna put Allosauruses in fire for now, because they are pretty good. Like they're really good. But you know, I think, I don't know though. I want to put them in S, because like they're really good. They have like a when they are in the pack, the alpha of the pack has like a new ability where he kind of makes the creature bleed, or like it's like a new attack where it gives the creature a bleed effect, which is, if you don't know, the bleed effect in Ark is pretty nuts. Oh man, I don't know. You know what? We'll keep the Allosaurus in A, and maybe I'll change it later. Ammonite. I don't see the point of these guys. They're just, why? Like I don't. I guess also there's untamed creatures in here, so there's the insect swarm. We'll get to him. I mean, the only thing I have to say is that they're good for black pearls, I guess. Did they even drop black pearls? I don't even know if they drop black pearls. Hold on, look it up. Okay, so ammonites do drop black pearls. Yeah, I mean, that's nice, but the ammonite bile, I don't see the point of, even for PvP. Like I don't really care about the ammonite. Aranio. That might be the first dog shit that we have, and here's the reason why. Actually, you know what? We'll put them in A, and here's the reason why. I get their purpose. They're a cave enemy, okay? Most of the time, they're a cave enemy. When you tame them, what the fuck is the point? Like, yeah, you can like stun enemies with your webs and all that. And it might be useful in PvP in some ways. I could see that, you know, you might fill up your base with these guys, and if someone tries to, you know, attack you and all that, they can, you know, web the person and all that. For like PvE, what the fuck is the point? They're weak as fuck. The web does literally no purpose. It has no purpose. They're fucking disgusting looking. I think the Uranium deserves to be there. I think you're Archaeopteryx, not a Microraptor. I think a Microraptor is like all the way down here somewhere. Again, you do go above the Urania though, but maybe this guy too. But when I was testing these creatures out, I did like a thing where I tested how far the Archaeopteryx can go comparing with a parachute. Obviously this guy is technically just a parachute but on your shoulder. He did it better with the parachute. Let me say this, while with a parachute it doesn't go that far, you can still use your weapons on a parachute. You can still shoot your gun. You can still use your weapons. In the Archaeopteryx, you can't do that. He's fast, like, don't get me wrong, he's quick. He's kind of like a getaway, but like in PvP, I can imagine in PvP, this guy is completely fucking useless. Yeah, I mean, the Archaeopteryx is just kind of eh. I mean, I could see its use. At least it has more use than the Uranio and the Ammonite. Andrewsarchus, I think these guys are pretty cool. I think for PvP purposes though, or PvE purposes, I don't know how useful they are. Again, I never tamed them before, but I know if you get like a really good saddle, like if you get a really good Andrewsarchus saddle, they do a fuck ton of damage. They're like, the machine gun on top of the saddle does a shit ton of damage. I would say that Andrewsarchus is a solid B tier because he does do a lot of damage on his own, don't get me wrong, but that's basically it. Like, he has like a kick effect. I think he can kick things behind him, which is pretty cool. Still a really cool creature though, don't get me wrong. I like how, you know, it looks pretty cool, and you know, the concept of it having a machine gun on its back is pretty fucking fire, but I don't think it deserves to be in A tier for now, at least. The Baryonyx, the Berry Mary Wary. Can we all agree that the berry is the best cave creature, like the best creature to take inside of caves? I think for that, honestly, I'm gonna put him above the aloe for now. The berry is pretty good, especially if you're doing caves. Yeah, the berry is pretty fire. I think that's the case, honestly. Yeah, I think that's more like it. I decided. I think the aloe deserves to be an S tier. The berry is pretty good for caves. If you want, like, you know, to just speed through a cave, the berry is where it's at. The anglerfish. This guy collects silica pearls for you, from what I've known. Or silica pearls. This guy collects silica pearls for you, from what I've known. Honestly, I'm gonna put him above the Achatina. I don't. Electronics is pretty good. Oh, this is a tough choice. Okay, we're putting him in B, but it's gonna be a low B because here's the thing: he does a decent amount of damage, but not like amazing damage. Obviously, it's not that strong, but I think the angler serves his purpose of being a silica pearl collector. I think that's all he does, right? He just collects silica pearls. Okay, so I just read it. Obviously, he also is used for a light source in the water. I mean, can't you just get glow sticks? The Basilosaurus. Personally, for me, the Basilosaurus, I think he's above the Andrewsarchus, or not Andrewsarchus, the Amargasaurus. The Basilo, he isn't my go-to. I don't know though. I feel like I'm ranking the Basilo a little too low here though. I think I'm gonna put him there. I think he's in A because he's not as good as the berry in my opinion, but he's still really good. And the reason why is because I sort of see the Basilo being more used as an underwater cave mount. When you're exploring underwater caves, the Basilo kind of comes in clutch because some of the underwater caves in the island, or even just in some of the maps, they tend to like they kind of tend to put where are the fuckers? These fuckers right here, which is the jellyfish. They tend to put them down there. So having the Basilo for that, because the Basilo can't get stunned by the jellyfish. He can't. He can actually, like, you know, tank it. I think just for that sole reason, and them doing a decent amount of damage, but not only that, giving you insulation in underwater, and, like, you know, deep water. And I'm pretty sure he also makes you, like, because like in Ark, if you go too deep, I think you do take damage, or your creature does take damage, and I think he's one of the few creatures that cannot take damage in the deep waters. I don't know if they removed that or anything. If that mechanic is still there, I remember that he could do that. So Beelzebub, I think he's slightly better than the Angler in my opinion. The reason why I say that is because, yes, while he doesn't do that much damage with the little bugs, he does a shit ton of damage. But not only that, he gets cementing base from them. That's pretty fucking fire, if in my opinion. And let's all be honest, cementing base is a much more important resource than silica pearls. You use cementing paste to make a shit ton of polymer. A lot of building, like, you know, structures take cementing paste. A lot of, you know, weapons take cementing paste. Cementing paste is a very important resource in Ark. When you have a shit ton of cementing paste, you're pretty much good to go, and the Beelzebub helps you with that. Or Beelzebuffo. Have everyone call him Beelzebub? I'm sorry, Beelzebuffo. We'll just call him Frog, okay? We'll call him the Toad, all right? The motherfucking Toad is pretty good. I've been calling him Beelzebub. The Anki. Now, for the Anki, I mean, can we just all agree that the Anki is probably the most useful creature in Ark? Sure, he doesn't do that much damage. Admittedly, he's pretty weak. His attack speed is pretty slow. But I don't know if you heard this little thing that is in Ark that is called metal. That is used in pretty much everything in the mid tier or in the mid game to very late game or end game. Pretty much, like in end game, you need a lot of metal, and the Anki is like the perfect creature to help you with that. I think seriously, without the Anki, Ark would be 10 times harder. Like, this game would be just a living hell without the Anki. Bloodstalker. This guy is pretty fucking cool. I was playing around, by the way, I played around with all these creatures in Ragnarok because I'm not gonna lie, I think Ragnarok is like the perfect map. I was playing around with this guy in like the waterfall area, like that like the middle part of the map where it's all the waterfalls and stuff, and like the huge rivers and all that, you know, using the Bloodstalker around there. Dude, this guy is so much fun. I'm honestly kind of just want to give him like a fire tier, but the thing is that the thing that's wrong with the Bloodstalker is it's sort of a situational creature. The Bloodstalker, in my opinion, I feel like is only useful in places like that where it has a lot of cliffs and valleys and, like, you know, a bunch of like cliffs that you can hang on to and, you know, jump around with. The Bloodstalker kind of helps you navigate Genesis a lot more easier because that map had a lot of like trees around it and a lot of like places that you can, you know, use the Bloodstalker in, a lot of cliffs, a lot of mountains. And I think the Bloodstalker is, in my opinion, is only good for that map. He also does swim pretty good, like he has a fast swimming speed and all that. But besides that, I think the Bloodstalker is very situational. I want to give him an A tier, but I'm unsure if it deserves an A tier. You know what? Maybe it does deserve an A tier, maybe below the Basilo. But you have to keep in mind that this guy is very situational. The Brontosaurus. I think he's one of the best creatures to get berries with, but not only that, he has a massive platform saddle besides the Titanosaur. I think he has the biggest one besides the Titanosaur. So where to put the Bronto? Honestly, I'm gonna put him up here. I think he's like at the very top of B tier because the Bronto is good for getting berries, but I mean, berries are such like a material. They're such a resource that you don't really need. The only thing that I really use berries for at the end of the game is making kibble. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just kibble. What else? Dyes. I mean, yeah, berries are pretty good. But the Bronto itself does a shit ton of damage. Now I did try the Bronto. I did build like a base on top of the Bronto. I thought that you can put turrets on their platform saddle, but you actually can't, which is odd to me. But I kind of understand that for like a balancing purposes, because if you just put like a shit ton of heavy turrets on top of a Bronto's back, you're basically impossible or probably near damn impossible to kill. Then again, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if like that's just like a regular setting that Ark turns off, and you know, some PvP servers allow you to do that. Again, I'm not like fully into the PvP space, so correct me if I'm wrong. If you're a PvP player, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Bronto, you cannot put turrets on it. I think the Bronto deserves to be a B tier because yes, it is pretty fucking cool that you can just build a platform base, like a mobile base on top of it, but it doesn't really have a practical use anymore in this day and age in Arc. But I think the Bronto is so iconic that I kind of need to put it above B tier because it is a very iconic creature. It was like the first creature it was one of the first few creatures that you saw in the trailer, the first ever trailer for Arc Survival Evolved. It's a really iconic creature, and that's why I think it deserves to be in the high C tier, or B tier I meant. And then we move on to the Bracky. So there's 3 variants of these guys. There's the regular Bracky, there's the X Bracky, which looks really cool looking. It would be my favorite Bracky if the woolly Bracky didn't exist. This motherfucker got a beard, bruh. Like, damn, dude. Like, damn, Bracky, I see you with that beardy beard. I gotta give, that's my favorite variant of the Bracky. The X one is fucking dope, but the woolly one is like my favorite. I kind of want to put the Bracky in. Where should a Bracky go, man? I haven't used the Bracky that much. I know he does a shit ton of damage, but what uses does the Bracky have in Arc Survival Evolved? Let's look it up. So the Bracky can actually Fear Roar a Giga, which I didn't fucking know that. I know it had a Fear Roar. That's kind of nuts. Obviously it's used for, you know, resource harvesting and all that. What the fuck? I might have to put this guy in S tier. Do we all agree with that? That's pretty fucking nuts. I think the Bracky deserves to be up there, man. Holy shit. He's really good for resource gathering too, apparently. I didn't know he did that. I didn't know he had like I didn't know he could harvest a shit ton of metal. I didn't know that, which is crazy. Yeah, honestly, the Bracky's kind of fire. I put him in S tier. The Arc Shellion. These guys are really good for harvesting biotoxin, from what I remembered, because they're kind of like the Beelzebub, where they do a shit ton of fucking damage to these guys, and I think they get more biotoxin from them than like a usual creature would get. So the Arc Shellion, in my opinion, I think deserves to be in B tier, but I'm gonna put him above the Beelzebub. No, I think the Beelzebub deserves to be above him. Here's the thing, I really like how the Arc Shellion looks. I think they're adorable looking. They're so fucking cute. The thing is that I'm not trying to make that determine where the creatures are gonna go in the list, because the Beelzebub, in my opinion, is more useful than Arc Shellion. I think the Arc Shellion is good, but you can always get a, you know, Basilo and not really use the Arc Shellion, you know. And I have to admit, the Arc Shellion is also pretty slow. It's slower than the Basilo. So it's kind of like, it's a cool creature, don't get me wrong. Like, I think it's cool, but they're good. That's all I got to say. They're good, but they're not amazing. Now the RG, man, I might have to put the RG up there, bro. The RG might be the best creature to be ranked so far. What a fucking useful like bird, bro. Like, if you use the RG with the Anki, especially if you have someone on the Anki, it's an amazing fucking combo. Like, these two get the fucking job done. And I think that's the thing that I love about the RG, is that it carries like the most simplest creatures, like the Anki and all that. It is able to carry those guys, and the RG is just so good. And also, everyone states that the Pteranodon is good, but I personally think that I would rather ride around on the RG than a Pteranodon all the time, because while the RG is slow, we have to all admit the RG is pretty slow. The Pteranodon doesn't have a lot of weight, but the RG has a shit ton of weight, so you can like carry so much stuff on the RG while you're going around the map and all that, collecting resources. Yeah, this guy's going in S tier without a doubt. S tier creature. Now the Arthropleura, on the other hand, I hate these fucking guys. I think they're worse than the Aranios. The Arthro annoys the fuck out of me, but not only that, it's a little too strong. So if you don't know what the Arthro does, it has like this spit that it shoots out, and when that spit hits you, even if you're on your creature, a chunk of your armor gets broken. Like a chunk of your durability on your armor, it just gets annihilated. Just say goodbye to your armor if you get hit by that, okay? Especially if there's a lot of them in the area, okay? The only saving grace about these guys is that if you do have guns on you, they have less resistance, I think. They have less resistance against ranged weapons. So if you do shoot them with a ranged weapon, they will die a lot quicker because they're taking more damage from ranged weapons. So that's the saving grace in them. And also, I don't see the point in taming them. I don't. The only point is probably in PvP, where you can like put them in your base and annoy the fuck out of the other player with that, you know, whole armor penetration shit, whatever the fuck it is. Yeah, these guys, I hate them. I hate them with a passion. I don't give a shit about these guys. If I'm going caving, I would just be happy with them not even existing. Yeah, fuck the Arthropleura. I don't care. The Carno, where does the Carno go? I think above the Beelzebub. A lot of people sleep on Carnos, in my opinion. I think the Carno deserves more respect than what people give it. I think if you're starting out in the game and you can't find any like good high level raptors, the Carno's like the next best option. Like the Carno is really fucking good. Like for a beginner, like a sort of beginner team, I definitely recommend, if you are starting out, tame a Carno. It's a pretty good starting out creature. Astrocetus. I know that these next two guys are, I think they're controversial to PvP. Tell me if I'm wrong, but from what I remembered, they're controversial. The Astrocetus, I don't see the point of these guys. Like, it's just like, I could see them as, I know they have like their saddle kind of has like a nuke ability or something like that, where you can like fucking fire like a big giant fission missile or some shit. That's cool, and they look cool looking, but for even like a PvE standpoint, what is the point? I don't see the point of an Astrocetus. Now, the Astrodelphus, I know this guy is way more controversial than this thing, because I think this thing is really strong from what I remember. I think a lot of the, I don't know. If you're a PvP player, is this guy controversial to PvP, or do you guys like this guy being in PvP? Like, is he not too overpowered or whatever? I know for a fact that these guys are controversial to PvP. I know that a lot of, like, when Genesis Part 2 came out, I know a lot of PvP players and even PvE players were complaining about like some of the creatures in that DLC. I know a lot of PvP players were complaining about this guy, and I think because he's basically a jet, like he's pretty much like a really fast jet creature that is like basically impossible to avoid, because he also has like homing bullets or whatever, like homing tech bullets, which, look, it's cool from a PvE standpoint, but as respect to the PvP players who had to deal with this motherfucker at launch and, you know, during the hype of Genesis, I think I'm gonna have to put them in cool. I would put them up here if they weren't so controversial. Gallimimus, kind of a mean creature a little bit in my opinion. I mean, if we're being for real, like, it's probably one of the fastest ground mounts that you can have in this game, but he barely does any damage. His turning fucking sucks. I mean, it's cool that you can like have another friend go on a journey with you on the Gallimimus, but like, and also another thing that's to say about the Gallimimus, you just hear all the fucking time, and it's annoying when you're riding on him. It gets really annoying and repetitive, and I don't like the Gallimimus that much, which is why I'm putting him in alright, because here's the thing, I don't like him, but I see his uses in some way, but like, I don't know, it's just like, I don't think I'll ever go on my way to tame a Gallimimus. Now, Insect Swarm. What to say about the Insect Swarm? Fuck this piece of, like, seriously, like, why do you exist? These guys are so fucking annoying. Like, oh my god. Like, oh, these little fucks are the main reason why I avoid the bog from Genesis. I'd rather live in the space biome than in the fucking bog because of these things. They're so annoying. Like, You know what makes them even more annoying? They go through walls. Why can they go through walls? I don't know if they ever fixed that at some point, but if they did, congratulations. They're still awful. Congratulations. I still hate them. Because when I walk out of my fucking door, I just get bombarded by these little tiny, like, nibblers. Like, come on, bro. Like, just get rid of them. Remove them. The bog is already terrible enough, but you make them even worse by adding these little annoying fucking like tiny bugs that just like swarm around you. It's so bad. Literally no purpose in this game. They're a waste of space. They're a waste of oxygen and air. I'm about to pull a fucking low tier god on him, okay?
Your life literally is as valuable as a summer ant. I'm just gonna stomp you. You're gonna keep coming back. I'm gonna seal up all my cracks. You're gonna keep coming back. Why? Because you keep smelling the syrup. You worthless bitch ass. Your purpose in life is to be in that
swamp,
blowing a dick daily. You should
self-assassinate yourself
now and give somebody else a piece of that oxygen and ozone layer that's covered up so that we can breathe inside this blue trapped bubble.
Like, seriously, go die. Like, I don't care. I'm just gonna tell you right now, he might be like the lowest. He might be like the lowest on his list. Like, he's probably, there's probably gonna be nothing above the insect swarm. From what I know, I don't think I'm putting anything below the insect swarm. I think the insect swarm is the worst creature in this game. The Pego might be a contender, right? The Pego might be a contender for being one of the worst creatures, but no, the insect swarm I think is the worst creature in this game. Charcar, I have to admit, the Charcar. We'll get to the Giga versus the Charcar controversy. The Charcar for now is amazing. Oh my god, like wow, the Charcar is fucking dope. I love this guy. Such an amazing creature, dude. It is wow. They're so cool. Like, I like their abilities. The fact that when he does eat a body, he goes into this enrage mode, and he does not only does do more damage, I'm pretty sure. No, he doesn't do more damage. He has like this, like, not slash ability, but like a sort of a bleed ability. But not only that, he's faster. The Charcar deserves to be really high up on the list, and I think being above the Allosaurus is where it should be. It should stay there. A Bulldog. The Bulldog is cute, but I'm gonna put them in cool because they are useful in aberration. Like, I think most of the, why don't we just do that? Let's just rank all the light pets like right now. The Bulldog, in my opinion, is my least favorite light lantern pet or whatever, light pet. My second least favorite, where is it? The Shinehorn. The Shinehorn's a lot more adorable in my opinion than the Bulldog. Again, still cute, but like, this is like, you know, you're cuter, but like, I still don't think it's the best one. My second favorite, I think, is the Featherlight. I'm pretty sure now you know what my favorite one is. I think the Featherlight is actually not cute, more so cool looking. And obviously the best one, my favorite one, the Glowtail. I think the Glowtail is fucking awesome, dude. If you don't know me, I love lizards. I think, especially little ones, I think they're all adorable. They're obviously going under these guys because they're not, the only use that they really have is to be a light pet, which is useful in aberration. That's why I'm putting them down here, because they're very situational as well. Casterides, I think that's how you pronounce their name. It's not Casteroids. Basically what I said, Casterides. The Casterides, the beaver, you know, whatever you want to call it. Now, some people might actually rank it with this guy, but I'm actually going to put it in A tier. Here's the thing about the Casteroids. I do think it's better than the Basel and this guy. Here's the thing about the Casteroids. I don't think, despite what it says about the Casterides of saying it's like the second best for harvesting wood besides the chainsaw, I personally think that the Mammoth is better in my opinion, because it has like sort of, not only does the Casteroids just harvest as wood, it doesn't harvest anything else besides wood and you know, berries of course, but that's all herbivores on this list. I think besides the Doty. I think the Doty doesn't harvest berries for himself, which is weird. I don't know why they made it like that. The Casterides, it's not as good as the mammoth in my opinion, because the mammoth also harvests thatch. Like you can make it harvest thatch and all that. And I think also the Casterides has a like better weight reduction, but it's still not as good in my opinion. I don't think it's better than the mammoth. I think the mammoth is the best one for gathering wood in my opinion. Yeah, that's why I'm putting them in A tier, but I won't get mad for someone putting in S tier, because I think it's just a preference thing for me. Like I prefer taming a mammoth over a Casterides, but I think people would want to tame this guy because it does collect wood. You could carry it with an RG, you know, you can carry these two and collect wood with an RG and all that, but I don't know, I'd rather just run around with a mammoth. I mean, you know, I'd rather just do that. Basilisk. Ooh, basilisk. I don't know if I want to put him in A or S. I think low S personally. I think once you get a basilisk in Arc Aberration, you pretty much beat the map. Besides getting a Reaper, I think those two creatures, actually 3 creatures, if you get a basilisk, a Reaper, and a Rock Drake and Aberration, you're good to go. Like you basically beat the map. Go defeat Rockworld, buddy. Okay, stop staying on the map. The only thing that I have to say about the basilisk is that it is a bitch to tame. Yeah, it's a bitch to tame. So my opinion, not really that good in terms of that, which is why I'm putting it in low S. Actually, I might just put you below the Bracky. The basilisk has a lot of weight reduction in certain resources from what I remembered. I'm just not gonna look it up. I'm pretty sure it has a lot of weight reduction in certain resources. Let me look it up because I don't know. So apparently it only has weight reduction on stone, which I didn't know that, but apparently it just has a lot of weight in general. So honestly, basilisk is kind of fire. Honestly, now knowing that, I think I actually will put it in A tier more than S tier. I think it's better than the berry though. It does a lot of damage too. That's the thing. I think it's really fast as well. I think it does deserve to be at the top of A, but I don't know about S tier. I mean, coelacanth. What the fuck is the point of the coelacanth? I mean, it gives you a fish. I mean, I guess, but like you could technically tame these guys if you get a fish basket, but I don't really care about these guys. I'm not gonna lie. Diplo. I mean, it's all right. It's not the best thing. It does harvest berries pretty well actually, but that's basically it. That's all it really does. I mean, I don't really see any other point of it. Cryoluphosaurus. I think it's Cryoluphosaurus from what I remember. I tried pronouncing it. I tried reading its name and I was like, well, how do you pronounce this fucking name? Yeah, it's Cryoluphosaurus. These guys are pretty cool actually. I actually think they're above these guys actually. They're not amazing. Like they don't do a lot of damage, but they're pretty cool. Like I think we just want to try them out. They're pretty fun to run around with and all that. So what they do is that they kind of have like a freeze effect. So like when they like have this freeze breath and it freezes the creature. And I think if you freeze the creature with this guy, he does more damage at frozen creatures. I might be wrong with that. I only played this guy for a little bit, so that's where it kind of got. He does also have like a buff when he freezes a creature or something like that. So maybe that's what that's doing it. Like he gets that buff and he deals more damage because he has that buff. He is also faster with it. He also has like this ice spit, which also helps with his freezing ability. I think they're pretty cool. I have to admit, they're pretty cool. They don't do a lot of damage, but they're pretty cool. I like the amount of abilities that they got. All right, is this a crystal ribbon? I think this is a crystal ribbon. Oh, I forgot to delete this one too, so I guess we're not gonna rank this one. This is a boss, I'm pretty sure, from what I remembered. I think this is the crystal queen, I think. So we're not gonna. By the way, I was originally gonna put bosses in this list, but I think that deserves its own separate list because they're bosses. So, and also I never actually fought all the bosses in this game, so no, I think the RG deserves to be on top of these guys still because it has the weight reduction of all those resources. When we get to the wyvern, we'll compare these two as well, but I really like the crystal wyverns. They're amazing. Like, they're probably like the best addition in Arc, in my opinion. I especially love the tropical one specifically because when you get like a miniature buff, or you get like a buff when you go into the water, and it makes your guy faster than what they are. And keep in mind, these guys are faster than regular wyverns. I tested out, and they are actually faster than regular wyverns, which is nuts. So not only is this guy faster than a regular wyvern, but he can get a buff and go even faster. Like, that's crazy. So that's why the tropical wyvern is my favorite. Also, they have really cool and colorful colors, so that's why it's also my favorite. There's also there's 3 types. There's the crystal, the tropical, the ember, and the blood. My least favorite one is the ember, because it's basically just a weaker, in my opinion, it's a weaker fire wyvern. My second favorite is the blood one, because it has a lifesteal ability, which is pretty fucking cool. I think it's my second favorite, and my favorite is the tropical one. Yeah, I think they deserve an S tier because they're so helpful for getting around a map and all that. So Daeodon, Daeodon is pretty good. I think I put him above this guy. I feel like it's only good when you have another friend with you, or even if you just want to, you know, heal your creatures after a battle. Yeah, I think they're pretty good. I don't think they deserve to be an S tier, but they're amazing. Let's just say that they're amazing. I only would take them to boss fights if I had like a friend with me that could ride on the Daeodon and I ride on the Yudi, so my friend can heal my creatures while I'm giving them courage and all that with the Yudi. I think that'll be like the only reason that I would take the Daeodon to battle. Should I put him above the berry? I think I should put him above the berry, because the berry is good, but like I think the Daeodon is much more useful in the later game. So yeah, I think the Daeodon deserves to be there. Oh yeah, this is the Exomech, isn't it? These guys are just whatever. Like, these guys are just whatever, man. I think the Exomech is the less cooler mech, because we do have the mech in here. Where is he? He's like down here. He's the less cooler mech in my opinion. Also, he's fucking completely broken. I looked up about it, and apparently he's useful for carrying storage boxes. He's like a carrying ability where you can carry the storage boxes. I tried doing that with him. He couldn't fucking carry a vault, because apparently he's able to do that, but I couldn't get him to do it. He just wouldn't. Like, he was able to carry a vault with a bunch of stuff in it, and he just couldn't fucking do it for some reason. He also has a storage one where like he can, like, you know, store shit in him or something like that. Some bullshit like that. He does a pretty decent amount of damage, but again, why would you get this guy? There's just no point. It's just sort of there. I mean, I think it's a reward when you beat Genesis Part 2, so I think that's the thing. That's purpose is just to be a novelty thing, you know, like it's meant to be like a thing for you to just play around with, and that's it. That just makes him kind of like, honestly, I'm gonna put him down here, maybe above this guy, because it's just like I don't see the point of using him. Europe traits. Fuck these guys. These guys are annoying as shit, especially when you're playing Ragnarok. They're fucking annoying. But the reason why they're going right below the Aranio is because they drop a shit ton of black pearls. So that's the good thing about them, but they're still fucking annoying. I would be daring to put them down here, but they have a use, so that's why they're up here. But these guys, I don't really care what people say. These guys are useless, and you know what how I feel about these guys. Deinonychus! These guys are cool. I'm not gonna lie. I think these guys are awesome. I think Deinonychus is actually like my favorite medium-sized creature. I think that's what they are. They're sort of a small to medium-sized creature. Dude, they're awesome. They can like latch on to bigger creatures and like, you know, bite off their flesh and shit. It's so cool. Not only that, they're really fast. They do a lot of damage, especially when they're in the pack. I think they have a bleed effect from what I remember. Yeah, they're amazing. Like, the Deinonychus are awesome. Are you a galley? I thought we already ranked the galley. Oh, you're a compy. You're a compy. Oh, well, I thought you were a fucking galley, yo. Okay. Compy goes in because they're just a shoulder mount. They're cute, but they're just a shoulder mount. Like, they literally have no purpose. Like, the compy has no purpose. They're really just a shoulder mount. So they're actually worse than these guys, in my opinion, honestly. You can say that they have no purpose of existing, but the reason why I'm putting them in because I think they're adorable. Okay, leave me alone. You can argue that they go in dog shit, but I don't think they're that bad. Galley goes here. There we go. Or actually, I actually think the angler is more useful than the galley, so yeah, the galley stays there. Actually, this guy's more useful than the galley too. Honestly, the galley just kind of goes down here. I'm not gonna lie. Or did I put him? All right, I think I put him right here. I think he was right here. I don't remember. Oh, we'll just put him there. Glow bug. They're just used to charge your batteries, I guess, and charge your light pets. That's basically it. Desmodeus. So this guy's, in my opinion, is pretty similar to the Pteranodon and the Tapara. or Tabehara, and Trophiophanagus, or is it Trophanagus? It's Trophionagus. I think this guy is the second best out of those three. They're pretty fucking cool, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna put them in fire, I'm not gonna lie. I might put them above the Bloodstalker. I think they deserve to be above the Bloodstalker. They eat blood. Actually, they collect blood. That's the thing. If you want a shit ton of blood, so I guess if you want to tame a Cerrado, because you do need blood packs to make the cocktail that the Cerrado takes, which by the way, that's coming up. If you want to get like a shit ton of blood, they're really good. I definitely would tame these guys. They can also hang on the walls and on like the side of like rocks and all that. They're kind of just a better tape jar. That's how I kind of see them. Or Tapehara. How the fuck you pronounce that? Itchies. Now, some people will put, fuck these guys, dog shit. I'm gonna put them in They're actually better than these guys. Because here's the thing, he has a use. That's the problem with the Ichyornis. How the fuck you pronounce it? However the hell you pronounce this thing. It's Ichyornis. Yeah, whatever. I call it an Itchy. We'll just call it the seagull. The seagull has its uses. It captures fish, right? And when it captures the fish, it kind of makes it a better quality one. So when you harvest it with the sickle, or I think even with a berry, you could probably do it. It gives you prime meat, which is pretty good, or prime fish meat. It gives you prime fish meat, which is really fucking good. If you want to get a shit ton of prime fish meat, get an Ichyornis. Dilo, kind of the same shit. I actually think that Dilo is right there. Like, why would you tame a Dilo? I think the only reason why you would tame a Dilo is for kibble. It's basically it. These guys are kind of annoying too, but at the same time, they're kind of like, they serve as the player's first challenge, right? Like, it's your first enemy that is going to attack you when you're on the beach. That's their purpose. Chalicotheriums, actually these guys are kind of cool. These guys are kind of cool. Actually would put him above the Cryolithosaurus, honestly. Actually, I would probably put him right here, honestly. Maybe put the Cryolithosaurus right there as well. I don't know why I put him right there. Also, didn't I rank the angler above this guy? I think that's what I did. No, we'll leave him right there because biotoxin is pretty nice. The Chalicotherium is actually not a bad, it's like another not bad starter team instead of getting a raptor. They're pretty good. The only thing that kind of sucks is that you have to feed them beer to, like, you have to passively tame them with beer. I know it's weird. The Chalicotherium is actually kind of nice. They have like they throw rocks at people. I thought it was shit this whole entire time because my screen just gets covered in shit and I was like, what the fuck, they're throwing shit in my face. No, it's actually a boulder. They throw boulders at you, so I guess it's like a dirty boulder. I don't know, man, but it does a lot of damage. Yeah, I kind of like these guys. They're a little slow and I wish they were a bit faster, but they're pretty strong. Ceratosaurus, these guys are fucking dope. I think they deserve to be like right here. They're cool, man. Like, I really like their taming method. It's interesting, but not only that, they have like this ram ability, and I love how you can like sort of drift with them. Like, they need to like stop themselves from running so fast. They also run a lot faster the more they go. It's awesome. They're so cool. They also have like that thing where I guess it's sort of like a lifesteal ability. I don't know what that thing does, but when you attack creatures with the Cerrado, it kind of has like this number thing that pops up. I think it's a lifesteal ability. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I haven't done much research on them, but I've played around with them in game. They're really cool. And now I want to tame one at some point. Dimetrodons. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they deserve to be an alright. It's just like, the Dimetrodon is like, yeah, they're primarily used as a mobile living air conditioner. Cool. I can just pick up my air conditioner. I could just go and pick up my air conditioner and put it down somewhere else if I need to move it. I don't see the point in these guys. I would put them in but I don't think they deserve to be in Dinopithecus. These guys are, I'm not gonna lie, even when they're in packs, they're very mid. I'm not putting them though, because they're better than these things. But I'm gonna have to put this motherfucker below the, no, maybe higher than, no. Yeah. Their climbing ability, they could climb stuff, by the way. They can climb shit, but it's super fucking buggy to the point where it's unusable. They do a lot of damage in packs, but that's basically the only thing I'm going to use them for. They have all of these other abilities that just feel pointless to me. Like, you can throw grenades, okay, but the grenades barely do any fucking damage. Like, if this guy was able to throw tech grenades, which I don't think he can do. Wait a minute. Wait. They can actually use tech grenades. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I didn't know they could use tech grenades. Why didn't I try that out? I feel stupid for putting them in C tier then. That's actually like, that actually changes everything. That actually makes them really good. Can they actually throw tech grenades? No shot. Oh, never mind. Oh, I slept on these dudes. Hold on. Are you kidding me? I might put them up right here maybe. Wow. Wait, I was sleeping on these motherfuckers. So they can use tech grenades. Their poop does a shit ton of damage. But not only that, the poop can destroy tech. So if you're a PvP player, this guy is kind of busted. That's crazy. I didn't know that. That's actually fucking nuts. I didn't know the poop did that much damage too. Wow. I slept on them so hard. Damn, the fact that it went from here to up here is crazy to me. I should have done more research on them. Shit, man. Dimorphodons, I'm not gonna lie, I really like Dimorphodons. They're really good for PvP, especially PvP. They're actually pretty good in general. They're the highest damaging shoulder mount, which is fire. I actually would put them, no, I think I'll put them in B, because they're not like the best at damaging creatures, but they're pretty good. When these guys are in like little packs, they can, I don't know. No, I'll put them there because they don't do that much damage. They're not as good as comparable to like if you get like a pack of like Thylas or some shit like that, or a pack of these guys even. But they're really good because they're the highest damaging shoulder mount. So if you actually have them on neutral while they're on your shoulder, they can do a heavy amount of damage. But not only that, if they're mate boosted, they do even more damage. But not only that, they can kill people off their mounts. They can hurt people off their mounts, which I'm pretty sure for PvP, that's pretty nuts. It could also be kind of just pointless too, because I'm pretty sure if someone had like a tech rifle or something like that, they could just mow them all down. So, you know, but if you weren't playing a server with like full of tech shit and all that, they're pretty good. I actually wanted to tame one at some point in my playthrough, so I might do that. Okay, Kaprosuchus. Yeah, they're just okay. Like I actually used to want to tame a Kaprosuchus. Not anymore. They're all right. They serve their sort of purpose as being like a quote unquote beginner tame, even though that's not fucking true. Yeah, they're just all right. The Diplocalus. It's kind of just like it's not how they look either. I do think they look pretty weird looking, but I think that's what makes them cool looking. Actually, they look very, very alien. Again, we're not going based off of looks that much. What do I have to say about the Diplocalus? It's just a Diplocalus. They're not dog shit, don't get me wrong, but like they have their uses. I find it weird that you can't, I mean, it makes sense, but I also think that you should, no, it just doesn't make sense. Why are you able to ride these guys and only in underwater, but when you get out of the water, you can't ride them? I mean, in theory, it makes sense, but at the same time, it throws you off. Like, it's just like, okay. They also hold oxygen, which is okay. If I just wanted to hold more oxygen, I would just go and make Lazarus chowder. It would probably be easier than trying to tame these guys. Yeah, that's really all. I mean, they're a mobile oxygen tank. That's basically it. I don't care about them. They're just meh. Okay, the Concavinator. I think it's Concavinator. That's what your name is. Some people might be mad at me for this, but I personally think that this guy is just, he's a lot less interesting than the Cryoluphosaurus. It's cool that he can dive in the ground. He's not even like in sand. Like they're meant to be like, oh, you could dive in the sand with them. They do more damage than this guy overall, which is pretty cool. Like I think these guys might be good for Scorched Earth and only Scorched Earth. I don't really see the point of using them outside of it. So yeah, they're just okay. I don't know, maybe I haven't used them at their full potential. That they might actually be good, a lot more better than I thought. Okay, Doedicurus. Of course you're gonna go right next to the Inky. The best, it's literally the best creature for getting stone, I'm pretty sure. Again, pair this with the Inky, with the RG, you're all set. I mean, come on, it's the best creature to get stone. Doedicurus is S tier. Direwolves, they're pretty fun. I mean, obviously, I think I would put a Direwolves above a Carno. Like, if you're starting out in the snow, they're a pretty good option. Which, by the way, you can start out in the snow. You can start out in the snow if you want to. I wouldn't recommend doing it, but you can. And I think if you are starting out in the snow, these guys are not so bad option. You know, you also have, like, you know, they have like that ability where when they howl, they do more damage. They're pretty good. The only problem that I have with them is that they don't have a saddle, but I think that's okay. They're pretty strong in packs, and I think if you were able to give them saddles, it would be kind of OP. Dung beetles, I mean, I would have put the dung beetles on the right, but actually I'm going to put them here because they do have a use. They're going under the angler because dung beetles do have a use. They have a purpose. They make fertilizer in a crazy rate. More better than a compost bin. I much prefer using a dung beetle than a compost bin. Electrofnagus, whatever their name is. They're eels. The eels. Yeah, I mean, that's how I would feel about the eels. I think they might be good for PvP, but I think they're also pretty decent. I think they're good if you have a whole pack of them, but Dunkleosteus. They're the best at getting oil. My only gripe with them is that they're really slow. And I think that really bumps them down quite a bit. I would have put this guy in A tier with the Basilo, but man, like, it's just like they kind of just suck because of that, like, speed reduction, because they're so slow. But it makes sense because I think they're tankier, but not only that, they do a shit ton of damage, like a shit ton of damage. Yeah, that's the only purpose I see these guys having. They're really good for getting oil and metal underground or underwater. They're really good for that. They're actually amazing for getting oil. I think they're the best at getting oil in the game. I like them. They're pretty good. The dodo, baby. The dodo. Man, the dodo. Gotta put them in all above S tier. Come on. Come on. They're just actually, hold on. I might have found a purpose for them, but I'm not gonna go all my way to team them. Actually, I think I'm gonna put the dodo in alright, and let me tell you why. You want some primey early game? Well, I got you, fam. You know what you can do? Team a little tiny bit of dodos. And also, I got this idea from a guy on Dodo Decks. Forgot his name. But I guess shout out to Dodo Decks and to whoever that guy was. I don't know your name now, so it's actually a pretty decent idea. If you want early game prime meat, just tame dodos, breed them, hatch their little eggs, and kill the fucking babies. I know that sounds really fucked up, but it is true. Babies do drop prime meat. For some reason, they want you to get prime meat from babies. It's a fucked up world. But also the Epstein files is fucked up. So I mean, actually, I think the Epstein files are even more fucked up than what I just said. So it's probably 10 times. Actually, it's most likely 10 times more fucked up than what I just said. Anyways, let's not talk about that. We're at peace. Okay, we're ignoring the bullshit that's in the world, okay? Because honestly, thinking about the Epstein files just makes me depressed. Anyways, yeah, if you do that, you actually get early game prime meat. So if you want to tame creatures with prime meat and all that, tame some dodos, breed them, kill their children, and you get some prime meat. Besides that, they're a very memeable creature. They're the face of Ark, if you really think about it. Besides the Raptor and maybe the Rex, those three are kind of like the mascots of this game. Mantas. Yeah, I don't really see a point in taming a manta, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, mantas are just okay. That's how I feel about them. They can jump out of the water, which is cool, but if you jump out of the water and jump on land, you're fucked. Okay, say goodbye to your manta. They do a lot of damage too, but it's just like, I'm not gonna go on my way to tame a manta. Equises, I think equises are pretty dope. I think I put them above the Chalcatherium though, because I would probably go on my way to tame an I'd probably go on my way to tame an Equus than a Chalcatherium. So They have a lot of weight reduction on certain items and all that, so that's the cool thing about those guys. They're also pretty decent for Ragnarok. Like they're a pretty decent beginning team. If you get some rock carrots from Ragnarok, they're really good, a really good decent like beginner team. So yeah, that's how I feel about the Equus. Enforcers, they're pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. I think enforcers are pretty cool. I think I would rather have an enforcer than a direwolf. No, I actually want to bump them down a little bit. I think they're probably above the Equus actually. Enforcers are cool and I like them. You're only going to use them at the beginning of extinction, really. Like, it's cool that they can teleport on walls and teleport. They have like the blink ability. They jump, you know, they're pretty good for mobility, and they do a shit ton of damage if you have an unsettled enforcer. That's basically it. The death worm. Now, the death worm is unattainable. Like, you can't tame it. So there's no point of like kind of doing that, but they're pretty good for getting black pearls. So definitely, you know, definitely they're gonna be in all right. I think they're the best at getting black pearls. So they're gonna definitely be in the all right tier because that's pretty good, but they're not gonna be anything higher than the glow bug. Like, it's just, they're kind of annoying. They're scary too, especially the alpha version of the death worm, which I think gives even more black pearls, which is fire. Really good for getting organic polymer too, from what I remember. Okay, random special loot. Yeah, okay, they can give angler gels, leech blood, black pearls, and organic polymer. Yeah, they're pretty good for getting all those materials. Honestly, I might bump them up a little bit then. That's pretty fire, honestly. Fjordhawk. I mean, they're better than a fucking Dimetrodon. The reason why I ranked the Fjordhawk so low is because now what they do sounds cool, right? In your mind, like in your head, you're just like, wow, they actually get your stuff back. That's kind of cool. You know, they bring your stuff back and all that. What if you're across the entire map? Do they actually bring your shit back? Like, if I'm on Ragnarok, does this motherfucker actually travel across the entire map to bring my shit? I didn't test it out. I should have, but I don't believe it. Hold on, let me look it up. Okay, so they actually do bring it across the map. I still think they're still there. I don't see the point of getting it because sure, it does bring your stuff back and that is pretty cool, but do I want to tame a whole entire creature just to be able to do that? Probably not. And also there's just better shoulder mounts to have. So it's like, that's how I feel about the Fjordhawk. It's just like there's better shoulder mounts than it. I guess if you do want to retrieve your stuff when you die, yes, get a Fjordhawk. I don't think they're gonna be able to get your stuff like 100% of the time, because if you're in a cave with them, I highly doubt that the Fjordhawk is gonna be able to get out of the cave. I highly doubt it. With Ark's stupid fucking programming, I highly doubt it. The Arco is awesome, dude. Did I put them up here? Honestly, yeah, I think I put them right here. Arcos are fire, bro. I like the fact that when they get super low on health, they have like this rage ability, and you can still ride on them while they're in this rage ability. It's fire. Not only that, they kind of remind me of just another Rex. Like that's what an Arco reminds me of. It's just another T-Rex, and I think that's awesome. I don't know how much to say about the Arco. I just think it's just a really cool creature. Like it's fire. Fenrir or Fenrir or something. I don't want to pronounce his fucking name. The mythical wolf, I'm gonna call him. I'm not gonna lie, these guys were very underwhelming. When I think of Fenrir, how do you pronounce it? I'm looking up. We're gonna say Fenrir. Fenrir. Yeah, that's your fucking name. These guys are pretty underwhelming. I'm not gonna lie. They're still cool, but I think they're like, when I thought of Fenrir, I'm just gonna say Fenrir. When I saw these guys, I thought they're gonna be much bigger. Like, I thought there is gonna be a huge wolf that you can ride on. They're big, but they're not as big as I thought it was gonna be. Like, I thought they're gonna be like the size of a fucking like Triceratops, like that big. But they're not. They're just kind of like they're kind of medium size. They're just big. They're just slightly bigger than the direwolf. That's what they are. Now he has an ability where it gives him armor and all that, where it like gives him like the ice armor. That's cool, but after defeating a boss, I'm pretty sure you get this guy after defeating the boss, the Fenrir version of the boss. it's just okay. Like it's just like it's mediocre in my opinion. I'm not gonna put him in alright because he's basically just a direwolf, but I'm gonna bump him really far down because it's like I was really underwhelmed by this thing. I don't know, maybe when we get to Fjorder I'll play with him a little bit more, and again maybe I'll bump them up a little bit, you know, but right now this is how I really feel about them. Okay, Deinosuchus, these guys are fucking awesome. I think the Cerato's is actually a lot cooler than the Deinosuchus, but I would put these guys right next to each other. Dude, the Deinosuchus is fucking sick. They do so much damage, and they're basically the Sarco, what the Sarco should have been. That's what the Deinosuchus is to me. I don't really know how to explain it. It's just like they don't have a death roll attack like the Sarco, but they have like a gigabyte ability, and it does a shit ton of damage. They have a tail whip too. I found that out like at the end of the episode 9, where I found out that they have a tail whip ability. So cool. So cool. I love the Deinosuchus. Gigantopithecus. Yeah, I think they're under the Equus. So here's the thing. I actually think they are still a fun creature to have. The fact that you just tame Bigfoot is pretty cool. But I don't really see a good reason to tame them besides that they're pretty strong. They collect fiber. They actually collect hide as well. Pretty good. They actually just collect everything actually. They're pretty fun to ride around. Don't get me wrong. That's why they're in B tier, because they're fun. But besides that, if I wanted to get fiber, I'd rather just tame a dire bear. I'd rather tame a theory or something like that. What I will say that is cool about them, and it's kind of funny, you can actually use zip lines with them, which is cool. I think that was their TLC actually. Their TLC was they were able to do that. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about the Gigantopithecus. They're mid B. Griffin. Yeah, I would do that. I don't know. Where do I put the Griffin? I'm juggling between there and actually the top of A. I just noticed that like I noticed that the 3 best in S tier are like really strong flyers. It's so funny. I think they deserve to be under the Wyverns. No, it's gonna be under the Crystal Wyvern. I think I like the Crystal Wyverns more than the Griffin. Actually, the Griffin's sick, but I don't know, there's just something about the Griffin that just looks weird. It doesn't look like a traditional Griffin. Like if you look up Griffin, it's not even named a Griffin. Like it's not like named like the traditional Griffin, which I guess it is another way to spell it. But this Griffin just looks so goofy. But besides the looks, it is a good tame. Like it is a really good fly around. Yeah, that's all I really have to say about them, is that they're just really good. They do a lot of damage. They especially with that dive bomb, if you like swoop some creatures and you like attack while you're swooping down, get a pretty decent amount of damage. But I don't want to do that all the time, so that's why I'm kind of just like, well, I just want to get a Wyvern instead of like the Griffin, because like the Griffin's normal attack, it does all right damage, but not amazing damage. But when you do that sweep attack, it does pretty good amount of damage. Hesperornis. It's kind of the same thing with the Dodo. I just don't really see the point. They're better than the Dodo though. We all have to admit to that. They drop a golden egg, which if you eat it, you get an XP boost, which is awesome. Their eggs, you can boil them in a cooking pot to get, or like even an industrial cooker to get oil. So it's like a passive income of oil, but that's it. I'm not gonna go on my way to tame one of them, because I could just get oil like from underwater or from the snow, whatever, or even just get an oil pump. It's just like there's no point in taming them. Itchy, basically this guy, but just worse. Basically the Mantis. Oh no, basically the Mantis, but worse. So yeah, I'll put them like that. Jerboa, they're pretty cute, right? But I think if I was playing Scorched Earth, I would tame them. So I guess that bumps them up to here. No, I put them under a Fjordhawk, because I would rather tame a Fjordhawk than a Jerboa. They're adorable, don't get me wrong. They're really cute, but their only use is in Scorched Earth, because they warn you about weather and like heat storms and all that, which is useful only in Scorched Earth. That's really all I have to say about them. Hello, Corpin. This guy is cool. He's basically an underwater RG, which is fire. But I don't know if I'm going to put him under or where the RG is, because he is slightly slow. He's slightly slow. I would put him actually above the Baslo. I would rather tame this guy than a Baslo. I think you have to passively tame them from what I remember. I don't know. When I get to the point where I tame these guys, I'll see how you tame them. but they're basically an underwater RG, which is cool. Aquatica, you should have fucking took notes. Actually, Aquatica should have just took notes from everything. Like, Aquatica is just, I had a fucking question. We're not going to talk about that thing. Hey, you can tell that I didn't put Aquatica creatures here because I want to pretend that DLC doesn't exist. So, Hyenodonts. Again, it's one of those situations where I just don't see the point of taming them. I'm going to put them above the Achatina though. They get a lot of meat. That's basically it though. Dinotherium. These guys are pretty cool, though I don't really understand what their abilities do. I think there's like one ability where there's like a roar, right? But when you do that roar, it gives them like a buff. There's like 3 different types of buffs that they get. Like there's like a damage one, there's like a defensive one, like not defensive one, like a resistance buff or some shit like that. It's interesting. I do want to tame these guys at some point. I still think they're terrifying as hell, but they're pretty cool once you tame them, which is why I'm putting them above the Amargasaurus, because I feel like these guys are just, they're a lot cooler in my opinion than the Amargasaurus. The Amargasaurus is cool, but like, I don't know, like this guy is pretty fire. Iguanodon, honestly, I would rather, yeah, no, that's not true. I was gonna say I'd rather have the iguana over the Equus, but that's actually not true. I'd rather have the Equus over the Iguanodon. But the Iguanodon is still a good creature to tame. Really good one. The only like weird thing that to say about it is that why does it have an ability to fruit the seeds out of the fruit? That's kind of weird to me. I don't understand the point of that. I mean, you used to get the seeds from breaking bushes and shit, so it's kind of like, what? But besides that, they're really fast. I like how they have 2 modes where like they have like a fighting stance and like a running stance. So like if you want to like be faster, you have to switch that stance and run away. I like them. I think this is a jug bug from what I remembered. I mean, I would say that the jug bug is a bit more useful than the glow bug. I don't know, but I would assume that because these guys are usually filled with water, so you can just walk up to them and drink some water from them, which if you really think about it, it's fucking disgusting, but that's what they do. There's also an oil one, I'm pretty sure. Like there's an oil jug bug. Yeah, I don't have them separate here. There's an oil jug bug and there's this guy, which is just a regular jug bug, the water jug bug. This is the penguin, the Kairuku or some shit like that. I actually think this might be the most useful pet they I would say pet. Yeah, it's a pet. I would say these guys are pretty, actually I don't know if they're that useful though. I'm gonna put them in I'm gonna put them there. I'm unsure. Does tamed Kairukus give organic polymer? I think so. If that's the case, then I would have put them like maybe up here actually. You know what, just to make sure, I'm putting them above all these guys. Just the fact that they give organic polymer is kind of nuts. I'm pretty sure this guy also, because I'm pretty sure he drops organic polymer, but you can basically use these guys to farm organic polymer, which is awesome. Organic polymer is always the better way to get polymer. Carcanos is awesome. The Carcanos though, like these two like is the thing that you need in aberration. Like these two are so useful. The Carcanos is basically the Argentavis, but in a crab form pretty much. He doesn't have like, I don't think he has weight reduction like the Argentavis, but what is amazing about the Carcanos is that you can carry 2 creatures at once. Not only that, but he can carry an Anki and a Dodi. Like, what? Honestly, the Carcanos is like amazing. Like it's really good. I feel like if you have a Carcanos, it's like an aberration. Like if you're playing aberration and you get a Carcanos, you're all set. Like it's just late sit this. Well, you can't tame these guys, but as a creature on its own, I actually think they're all right. I guess I'll put them right next to the other whale. They actually give a lot of prime fish meat. This is another way to get prime fish meat, is kill elite Sithis. They are definitely scary. Like if you're riding on a raft, dude, and elite Sithis is coming after your raft, say goodbye. All right, leeches, no, leeches worse. I mean, like these guys are just an annoyance. Leech blood is kind of cool. You can make antidotes with them, but besides that, they're fucking annoying. Lyopleurodon, I think I'll put them up there. The thing is about the Lyopleurodon is that yes, it does boost the loot of crates. And you might think like, oh yeah, like this is an S tier creature, but it only the Liopleurodon literally only stays for like 30 minutes and that's it. Like you need to be lucky with the Liopleurodon. Like you need to get this guy right when he's there, and you need to go to those crates right away. Find those underwater crates right away. And I don't really like that. I'd rather just get the crates as they are. But like I don't know. I don't think I'll ever bother trying to team a Liopleurodon, but I recognize their use, and so that's why I'm putting them at the very top of C. I think they're gonna stay at the very top of C, honestly. The Dire Bear, I'm not gonna lie, I love the Dire Bear, despite PDF Bear fucking me over on episode 7. Where should I put him now? I think above the Castorides. He collects fiber, he collects a decent amount of berries. He basically, like, the Dire Bear pretty much collects everything, and I like that. He also helps with the bees, I'm pretty sure. I think he like stops the debuff of bees. Okay, so I just looked it up. Yeah, basically what I thought. His secondary attack, the sweeping one, if you use that on a beehive, he collects the honey without attracting any bees. That's like an S tier creature on its own, in my opinion. Yeah, S tier creature, honestly. They're really strong. They harvest a lot of fucking resources. I don't know. I love the Dire Bear personally. I think it's one of the best creatures in Arc. Kentros, I'm gonna put them here because again, it's one of those creatures I would never tame. I'm putting it under the Liopleurodon now. In PvP, or just even in general, Kentros, I think they do like a bleed effect, or no, they do an armor penetration effect, I think, when they attack. But not only that, they can stick enemies with their tail. Every time they like use their tail, you get hurt like significantly. I'm pretty sure Kentros do armor penetration. I don't know, but Lamantria, I think that's how you say it. I don't know. Yeah, no. Yeah, they're basically the replacement for the Pteranodon in Scorched Earth. Not only that, they're good for getting silk, and they fart on enemies pretty much, but they can't attack. The only thing that they can do is just fart on enemies, which to me is just useless. That's basically it, honestly. I might put them like even lower, honestly. Maybe like here. I'm not gonna lie. It's just like they're just no, not even, probably here. They're just there's no point, honestly. Like I don't think I'm gonna go on my way to tame them. Lamprey, that's what your name is. Fuck these guys. You guys are also as annoying as these guys, I'm pretty sure. Maywing, this is sort of another controversial creature for a multitude of reasons. One, it's a really fast flyer, probably a little too fast sometimes. Not only that, it has 8 nipples that you can literally see on the side of it. I don't know what the hell Wildcard was thinking about. They're a nurture for baby animals, but not only that, they're really fast, like super quick. So it is a sort of a controversial creature. That being said, I think they still at least deserve to be an A tier for the fact that they are pretty quick. Yeah, this guy is a little too quick. to the point where I feel like it's pretty broken that they're that quick. Magmasaur, this might be better than the Anki. I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, I think the Anki is better than the Magmasaur, honestly. Here's the thing about the Magmasaur. They're massive, right? They're big, so you can't really carry them with a lot of creatures. I think the only creature that you might be able to carry them with is the Rhinognatha, whatever his name is. I'm pretty sure that's the only creature you can carry him with. I love the Magmasaur. It's such a cool looking creature. It literally smelts metal in its inventory, which is nuts. Right? And they're really good for harvesting metal in general. Like, they're just good for harvesting metal. Like, they are the upgrade to the Anki in some way, but they're also a downgrade because you can't carry it with a lot of creatures. But I understand why the Magmasaur is like that. In Genesis, you can't really carry creatures with a lot of, like, I don't think you can fly in Genesis. I think in Genesis you can't use any flyers. So it kind of does make the map a lot harder. From what I've remembered, I don't think you use flyers. I don't know. I have to play Genesis again to see, but that's from what I've remembered. For that situation, the Magmasaur is pretty good. Where if you're playing on the map without flyers, so these guys would be very good on Aberration because you can't use flyers in Aberration. I think for a situation like that, they're amazing. But outside of the maps, I guess if you had a Rhino Natha, they'll be good. But unfortunately, I'm pretty sure these guys are really hard to tame. So yeah, I like the Magmasaur. Not as good as the Anki though. I think the Anki is still better than the Magmasaur in some way. The Mantis. I'm not gonna lie, these guys are fucking fire. They're better than the Dinopithecus, honestly. Now, the Dinopithecus, yes, it can destroy tech walls or tech structures, but for me, that's not really a priority because I'm not a PvP player, but I'm pretty sure if you were a PvP player, goddamn, these guys are fucking nuts. But for me, the Mantis is kind of nuts too because you can give it swords. It does so much damage depending on the blade that you give it to him, like depending on the how nuts the sword is. It is crazy. You could probably make the Mantis the strongest creature in your whole entire arsenal. In your whole entire army of dinos, your Mantis might be the strongest one depending on what you give him. It's nuts. Feroxes, oh my god, dude, Feroxes are so cool. I don't even know where to put him. I think above, no, not above the berry. I'm gonna put him right below the berry. Dude, I love Feroxes, they're awesome. I like how they're just like little tiny crackheads that just become this giant fucking menace of just destruction and hell. No, I'm from what I remember, I think they're a bitch to tame. So yeah, be prepared to try to tame these guys. They're pretty hard to tame, but it's worth it. Gas bags. I think if you're playing Extinction, they'll be pretty good. I think I'm gonna put them above the Equus. I think that's fitting. The gas bag has a lot of it has a lot of weight, and while that is cool, I do wish it had some weight reduction on certain items. But then again, the gas bag just has a shit ton of weight. Like even when you tame it, like I think it has almost 10k weight, and it can move that quick. But not only that, I don't know. I think the gas bag is pretty fire. I think it's pretty cool. Gotchas. I mean, I'm gonna put the gotcha below these guys because you know. But the gotcha is kind of nuts. It might be one of the controversial creatures in Ark. I don't think so. I think people are actually like the gotcha from what I remember. They're just a more passive way of getting resources. They pretty much like have crystals growing out of their back, and they drop the crystal, and you can set. I think certain gotchas have like a set of resources that they will be able to produce, and like there's certain tiers of like the resource that they can produce, and one of them can produce element dust, which is nuts because you basically have infinite element. Yeah, I the gotcha is an S tier creature because of that. Like just the fact that you can just let a creature basically produce metal for you without even needing to go and harvest it is crazy. Giant queen bee, or bee queen, or it's a fucking queen bee. You know, I am daring to put them above this guy, but I'm not gonna lie, no, I think I'm still gonna put them I'm gonna put them above the dung beetle, I think. Or no, the angler. I think no, this guy. Yeah, no, you're going above the frog, I think. If you tame a queen bee, you pretty much don't need to worry about getting honey anymore. And let me tell you how OP that is. That makes extraordinary kibble and vegetable cake. Vegetable cake is like the end game item for herbivores. Like if you can make a bunch of fucking vegetable cake, you're good, man, with your herbivores. Your herbivores are good, bruh. So I think that alone is a game changer. If you get a passive way of getting honey, I mean, you basically beat the game pretty much. Carbonemus. No, you're not that bad. I think under the Jerboa. Carbonemuses are fine. I know PvP players use them as bullet sponges, so when they're soaking turrets, I know there's like better options too. Like I know there's like a way better options, but I'm pretty sure like they use Carbonemuses as like a beginner way. Like if they're starting out, they use Carbonemuses to soak turrets. For a PvE player, don't care about them. They're good for kibble. If you want to make regular kibble, I'm pretty sure, but I don't really care about regular kibble. I usually sort of skip to superior because you can literally just do that. By the way, you can just do that if you tame some moss chops and all that, which are easy to tame and they're smaller than a Carbonemus. So I kind of just skip regular kibble. and I never really tamed them. Lystrosaurus. These guys are just kind of whack, I'm not gonna lie. They're cute. I think the Lystro's kind of cute. All right, I think it's a cute little creature. In terms of their uses, not really that good. They're not. They boost XP of your dinos, but barely. They barely do that. Like, it's not even noticeable half of the time. Like, I don't really like Lystros. I would never tame one. Manic armor. It might be for the better because of the PvP players, but when this thing was not nerfed, if you were there at the time when the Manic armor was not nerfed, this guy would have been an S tier. He would have been up here, probably. Maybe. He probably would have been up here. Unfortunately, he got nerfed significantly, so I'm about to drop him down here. Still an amazing tame, right? I still recommend to get it, Manic armor. But these guys were fucking busted. Like, they were busted when they came out. Wow. I'm shocked that for that long they didn't nerf them. I'm shocked because they were really OP. So Manic armors, they have like this thing where when they're in midair, they kind of like do a dash. Well, back then you could literally dash and then jump in midair and then dash again, jump in midair, basically giving you infinite dashes, like infinite midair dashes, and it was the most busted shit ever. Not only that, their little like ice beam that they shoot out did so much fucking damage, and it had so much range, it wasn't even funny. These guys were just really OP, but nowadays they completely nerfed them off the face of the earth. They're pretty much dog shit now. Well, not dog shit, but they're not as good as they once were. They got really fucking nerfed, which is why it's an A tier. Mammoth, like what I said, I think the Mammoth is better than the Castorides. So he's actually gonna go above the Doty. Honestly, I think I might put the bear right here, honestly. I do like the bear, don't get me wrong, but no, the bear's probably the best. The Mammoth is really good, in my opinion. I think it's better than the Beaver because it gets a lot of wood, like in one go. But not only that, it also can collect thatch. I like its ability where it kind of like makes itself stronger. That's cool. Like, I think it just weakens the enemies around it. Also like the where you can quench your character by using that ability, because it, like, if you're near water, it like lifts up its trunk so you can like drink from it. It's kind of nasty if you really think about it, but still kind of cool. What I mainly use the Mammoth for is, like, you know, getting wood and thatch and, you know, berries sometimes. If I don't have a Bronto, I would use the Mammoth to get some berries. I like them. I think they're an S tier creature in my opinion. I think Mammoths are awesome. Megalanias, I think these guys are they're just okay, I guess. I think back then, because you got to keep in mind that this guy was around for the longest time. When did the Megalania come out? May 30th, 2017. So these guys were the precursor to what's their name? Rock Drakes, because they were able to climb on walls and shit, which is cool, right? Which is cool, but I never really cared for them. Since the Rock Drake exists, I'd rather just use a Rock Drake than these guys. They're very weak. There is a chance for them to, you know, give someone mega rabies, but I mean, that's basically it. They can climb on walls and they can give people mega rabies. I don't care about the Megalania. I don't think I would ever tame it. Megaloceros, I know these guys are actually pretty decent for getting thatch. I think that's like one of their specialties, but again, it's one of those creatures where I'm just like, I'd rather tame it than a Capra, honestly, but it's just one of those creatures where I'd rather just tame a horse. I'd rather tame a Triceratops to get thatch, honestly. Triceratops is actually really good for getting thatch, since they have like that the charge ability. They're useful for getting thatch still, like the male ones. The female ones, I find them completely useless. I think the females are actually quicker than the males, so there's just something so beautiful. By the way, there's just something so beautiful about like how Ark was back in the day. Ooh, let me just put you there. Like, people literally use creatures like this to like PvP and fight and all that. It's nuts. But nowadays, like, people use like the Astrodelphus and all that, and, you know, it doesn't really feel, you know, It does. Personally, for me, I don't think it's as interesting as it was back then. Like, it was like, oh wow, like people use stuff like megalosauruses to fight each other with. Like now it's like, oh yeah, Astrodelphus. I mean, cool, but that it's basically takes no skill to use an Astrodelphus. Mega Shellion, I'm not gonna lie, it's cool that these guys do produce rare mushrooms and rare flowers passively, and you can build a platform saddle on top of them. With that being said, I'm putting them right. Like, I personally don't think they're that good. I just don't care about them, honestly. All right, we got our first match. All right, we got our first head-to-head. Which one is better, the Giga or the Charcar? Yeah, I said it. I think the Charcar is better than the Giga. If you disagree, fight me. Here's the thing about the Giga. The Giga was once the most strongest creature in the game besides the Titanosaur. I think now it might be the third strongest because the Charcar exists. I mean, actually, you might. If I'm talking about like creatures in general, it's the Charcar. If we're not including. By the way, if you didn't notice, we're not including the Titans in this list. I just forgot to mention that the Titans are not in this list because, personally for me, I think the Titans are kind of more so bosses. It's just bosses that you can tame. So yeah, technically if we're talking about like regular creatures, the Charcar is, in my opinion, is not the second strongest. That doesn't mean I don't like the Giga though. I think the Giga is still, if you do find a Giga, I still think it's worth taming. But I don't know, the Charcar just really takes its place. Like, it's just, there's just something about the Charcar that, actually no, the reason why the Charcar is better is because it has like that shred effect, the slash effect or whatever it's called, and on top of that, it gets enraged when it, you know, kills a creature. Like, that's nuts. While the Giga, it doesn't really get enraged. But also back then, the Giga, if it got way too low in health, and I don't know if it does this still, but back then when it got way too low in health, it actually started to betray you and attack you, which is fucked up. I don't think it does that anymore. I think they completely removed that, which thank God. But yeah, I just think the Giga, it kind of lost with the Charcar. I think the Charcar for me is now better than the Giga. There is something that the Giga has that the Charcar doesn't, and that the Giga is an icon. We have to agree with that. The Giga has been around the game since like what, 2016? Is that when it came out? So yeah, the Giga was added like around the time that Arc pretty much was just released. So the Giga has more of the icon. It's iconic. Ooh, this is wait, hold on. Wait, we might have a contender for being the worst creature on this list. Hold on, who is worse, the insect swarm or the fucking the jellyfish or Sindara, what the fuck it's called? You know what, we're gonna do heads for insect swarm and tails for jellyfish. All right, heads. Yep. You know, that's honestly how I feel personally. At least the jellyfish drops something useful, while this motherfucker literally drops nothing. Megalodon. Honestly, I with their new buff and all that they gave them, I call it new, but it was like a long time ago. With the buff that they gave the Megalodons are pretty good now. I think I prefer the Basilodo though, so I'm gonna put them down here, but they're pretty good honestly. They have like a pack buff now, and I think the alpha of the pack gets a bleed effect, or I think they all have a bleed effect when they're in a pack. But not only that, the more amount of creatures that are in the pack, the more damage they deal, which is nuts. I think that makes them pretty damn good. Though I will say I might have to bump them down to B tier, probably, maybe, yeah, most likely, because while they are in a pack, they're big creatures and they kind of get in the way. It's kind of, I could apply the same thing with the Dinotherium, honestly. Like, the Dinotherium is cool, but they all get in the way because they're such huge creatures and they need to be in the pack to actually, you know, show their full potential. They're still really good, don't get me wrong, but they're big creatures and they get in the way from each other, and that sometimes that kind of makes them less, or that kind of makes them weaker than what they should be. So yeah, I think the Megalodon deserves to be in between the Dinotherium and this guy. Megalosaurus, These guys are amazing in aberration, but besides that, I think putting them in B would probably be most fitting. No, man, I don't know. I'm gonna put them under the berry. These guys are awesome in aberration, but that is very situational. Like, that is if you're playing aberration. If you're not playing aberration, I kind of find them a bit lackluster. The reason why they're so good in aberrations is because when they're in caves, they basically become enraged, I guess, or they're more dangerous. So they are a lot more hard hitting in aberration because you're just in a massive cave system. But in other maps, they're kind of useless. So honestly, yeah, I think putting them in B is fitting to me. Mosquitoes, I mean, they don't annoy me that much, but like, I mean, they do produce cementing paste when you kill them with a frog, so that's why I'm putting them there. Megatheriums, fuck this guy because he killed me in episode 7, but that was sort of my fault, kind of, so I kind of killed myself. Overall though, again, they're very situational. I'm actually yeah, I'm gonna put them below the Megaloceros because at least with the Megaloceros, they're useful in one map, right? But with Megatheriums, they're only useful on like certain bosses, like the Broodmother. When they kill a bug, they get a shit ton of like, they get a massive buff, like a huge buff. Like they do so much damage, it's not even funny. And they're a lot tankier when they kill a bug. They just get enraged for some reason. I don't know what it is. Yeah, Megatheriums are awesome when you're fighting a Broodmother, but any other situation, you know, like the mech. The mech, I think goes under the, yeah, I think it goes under the Bloodstalker. It goes under the Bloodstalker. It's a cool thing in Ark, right? That you can have a giant fucking mech, and they're really good too. And also you can use them in the King Titan fight. You can like fuse 4 mechs together to make like one giant mech, which is fucking dope. Besides that, I don't really see the uses of them. They might be really good in PvP. I wouldn't doubt that they are good in PvP since they have like all those modules and all that. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say about the mech. I mean, the mech is just kind of, it's just kind of a cool thing that you can have in Ark. Mesopithecus, I actually think these guys are like kind of fire. Where would I put them though? That's the question. You know, let's put him with his brethren Gigantopithecus, but I think they're a bit better because they actually reduce, like, they half your weight pretty much. If you put something in the Mesopithecus on your shoulder, they actually, in their inventory, they half the weight off of you. They're still getting all the weight. So like, for an example, if you put stone, they're still getting all the weight of the stone. But since the Mesopithecus is on you, you would expect it to like, you'll still have the same amount of stone in it. But no, they actually reduce the weight on you, which is cool. So I kind of like that about them. Not only that, they lockpick doors and all that. Not only that, they throw shit at creatures, which is funny as hell. That's basically it. I like them though. I think they're more useful than, no, probably not more useful. I think these guys might be a bit more useful, but I think they're sort of useful in a way where like you can kind of use them as like a little backpack, which is awesome. Yeah, that's what I think about them. Yeah, they're like one of the few worst creatures in the game. Fuck Microraptors are so annoying. They could be useful in PvP. I'm pretty fucking sure that they're useful in PvP. Besides that, fuck them. The Camelsaurus / Morellatops. I mean, I might tame one in Scorched Earth. They might be useful in Scorched Earth, but besides that, they're just kind of Like I didn't really care about them when I was trying them out. Like I was just like, wow, this is a very mediocre creature. I think they are able to harvest cactus a lot. Like they could harvest a lot of cactus. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Like a lot of cactus sap, they could harvest a shit ton of it. They, you know, fill water so you could drink water out of them. That's kind of cool, but that's it. Like it's just that they don't really have any purpose in my opinion. Mosasaur, I think these guys are the second strongest. Well, not the second strongest. I think they are the strongest in the Ark Oceans. That being said, they're just okay to me. I would still tame one if I'm gonna fight Motor or something like that, or Mooter, however you pronounce her name. The thing is that I personally think that the Tuso Toothless, in my opinion, is the most strongest one. I love the this. I think it's my favorite underwater mount. The Mosasaur is basically the underwater Rex. Let's just think of it as that. The Mosasaur is the underwater T-Rex. What's your name again? Mosh Chops. Yeah. Oh my god, I completely forgot your name. They're pretty cool, honestly. I think people really sleep on them. Where should I put you though? I think under the dung beetle. I think people really sleep on them. They do deserve more love, honestly. Because people think that Mosh Chops are like, oh, it's a beginner team, it's gonna suck. But no, not really. It's not. It actually doesn't suck. They're actually really good for getting rare mushrooms and rare flowers. So they're actually good for getting a lot of resources like polymer and all that stuff. And someone in the comments gave me an idea like a long time ago. They gave me an idea of making like a Mosh Chops like family and like have them have the different like little buffs that you can give them in the separate wheel. You know, the little like leveling wheel, the separate one. They said to like have each and every Mosh Chops have that certain wheel and like have them like do like a certain little buff. I think that's a cool idea. I want to try that at some point. Since we moved recently, I could do a lot of breeding with the Mosh Chops and we could probably do something like that. So yeah, that's actually a really good idea. Also, I need a good way of getting polymer, so I hope the Mosh Chop's gonna help me with that. Nameless. Now, at least the nameless are sort of useful, but they are annoying in aberration. Really annoying, but they're useful because you can use their is it nameless blood that you collect? You can use their blood. You can use their blood to collect or to tame a rock drake. Yeah, you know, I mean, but they're annoying still. So Noglins, I think these guys are fucking funny. When I was using a fucking Noglin, so when I was playing in creative, you know, I might just like re-record it just to show you guys what I did. When you use the Noglin in creative mode, you know how like you can fly in creative mode? If you take over a creature using a Noglin and all that in creative mode, you can literally fly with that creature. I thought that was the most funniest shit that I've ever saw in my entire life. Because like, what the fuck? Like, I also think it's just really cool that these guys take over like the minds of like creatures, and guess what, you can take over the minds of other players, which I'm not gonna lie, that's fucking nuts. Here's the thing though, I might just tame these guys once and that's it, because I don't see the point of them. They're cool, don't get me wrong. Again, it's just like this C tier is just the list of creatures I will just tame, but like maybe never again. Onyxes are fucking annoying, and they actually, yeah, you know, they're an F tier because they literally have no use. Otter, okay, well, this is actually like no joke. Otter has to be an S tier. The fact that this thing can carry multiple artifacts, that's already like game changing, especially if you want to farm the bosses. That's really game changing. I love the otter. They're adorable. They might be the cutest shoulder pet in the game. Oviraptor, I'm not gonna lie, this guy's so useless. Actually, you might go there, bro. Like, I think the Dilophosaur is more useful than you, buddy. So this guy, okay, in Ark Survival Ascended, again, this is not an Ark Survival Ascended list, okay? So I'm pretty sure if I was ranking these guys based off of what Ark Survival Ascended is, these guys would probably be like up here, like maybe like up here somewhere. What I know is that in Ark Survival Ascended, these guys are actually not that bad because they actually harvest fertilized eggs. Like they actually harvest fertilized eggs. They actually pick them up and keep them in their inventory. That is really useful. That's what they should have done with the Oviraptor, but they didn't. So yeah, I think the Oviraptor is like really fucking useless because it only picks up wild eggs and unfertilized eggs. Like what? Like why? Ovises, I actually think they're on the same level as they're better than the Kairuku, because the fact that you can harvest them with wool, so you get like a passive production of fur pretty much. Not only that, they produce mutton. They're the only creature in the game that produce raw mutton, which is better than prime meat. So Packies, why would you tame a Packy? Like it's just like, what? Why would you ever try to tame a Packy? I tried these guys out. They're so fucking bad. I didn't realize how bad a Packy was until I tried it out for the very first time in my life. They're dog shit. I would put them in dog shit, but honestly, Yeah, they're dog shit. Like, I can't believe that this is a creature in the game. It's just like, so the Packy is meant to help you knock out creatures, right? There's better creatures to do that in the game than a fucking Packy, because the Packy literally is the most slowest attacking thing. Its little ram thing takes way too long to fucking charge. He's just slow as shit. I just don't see the point in taming a Packy. They're really dog shit in my opinion. Now Packy Rhino, I think I'll actually put it where it was supposed to be, or where it was before. Yeah, I don't see the point in taming a Packy Rhino. It's just kind of like, it has like 2 smoke abilities where like one of them makes it hidden so it can run away without being seen. The other one is the rage ability where it does the opposite, where it makes everybody sees you. Why would you want to do that? Like, oh, why would you want to do that? Parasitharium, you know, they're just a slightly worse Bronto, really. I think I'll put them under the Dinotherium though. The Parasitharium is just a slightly worse Bronto, but that's fine. I mean, I actually like the fact that it has a smaller platform saddle, because it really makes you be creative with such a limited space, and I like that. Parasaurs, people sleep on parasaurs, though they are worse than the Chalicotherium. I think I would rather have a Chalicotherium than a Parasaur, but I do like the Parasaur. I think people sleep on it. Pegos, you're going right there, buddy. You guys are, I hate you guys. You guys are just like, you guys think you're just funny, huh? You think you're just funny, huh? Taking my shit. Little fucking shit. I hate these fucking guys. Especially since I live in the redwoods now, and they're everywhere on the fucking ground. It pisses me off. Pelagornises. They're kind of the same with the Lymantria, but they are better. What Pelagornises do is that they actually have weight, like a significant amount of weight reduction on polymer. Specifically organic polymer, I think. The only problem I have with them is that they suck at harvesting polymer. So it's like, yeah, you have this weight reduction on polymer, but they suck at harvesting polymer? Why not just make them amazing at harvesting polymer? Also, I think they just fly very, very weirdly. Like, they're fast, but their animation doesn't fit with how fast they're flying. Or they fly at a moderate speed, but their animation doesn't fit with how moderate they fly. They look like they're flying so goddamn slow. It's so weird. And that's kind of the same with the RG Helifield. The RG is flying slower than these guys, right? But it just doesn't fit with how it's weird. The animation for the Pelagornis is weird. And also, I want to mention that a lot of people were saying at the time that the Pelagornis needed a TLC. When like the TLCs were coming out, people were saying, oh, they should probably do a TLC on the Pelagornis. I actually fully agree with those people. Why didn't this thing get a TLC? They could have changed it how it looked, and they could have made them a lot better than what they are now. Like, they're just kind of booty hole. Like, speaking of booty hole, Phiomia. I'm putting on, this is like the 2 pair that you need. This is like the pair that you need. You need a dung beetle and a Phiomia. These are like the 2 homies, okay? If you don't have a Phiomia, bruh, with a dung beetle, what the fuck are you doing? Phoenixes, I'm not gonna lie. The Phoenix is kind of the same situation with the Lyopleurodon, because these two, the Lyopleurodon and the Phoenix, are both rare creatures, right? The problem with them is that they're not worth, I mean, okay, the Lyopleurodon is actually worth it, okay? The Phoenix, though, not worth it, in my opinion. I don't think the Phoenix is worth it at all. I tried this motherfucker out. This dude is so goddamn weak. For a creature that is so rare and so hard to get, you make him the most biggest piece of shit. It's not rewarding. The only like special thing that he does, well, there's 2 special things that he does. He spits out fireballs, but they're so fucking weak. I mean, they do burn the enemy, but they're so weak. But not only that, he smelts metal, but he smelts it very slowly. It's just like, it is no fucking point of taming a Phoenix. Piranhas, annoying as fuck. I think they're less annoying than leeches. Plesiosaurs. I honestly rather just tame a Basilosaur. Don't get me wrong, the Plesiosaur is still decent. It's not as good as the Basilo, you know. It's not as good as a Megalodon either. So I guess I'll put him under the Megalodon. It does have a platform saddle, but again, like what I said, I'm the type of person who just thinks the platform saddles look weird. They just look weird on underwater creatures. It just doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, this guy is just, he's pretty good, he's cool, but I don't think I would go on my way to tame it though. Procoptodons. These guys are kind of cool. I put them below the moss chops. The thing is about Procoptodons is that they're kind of rare in most of the maps, and I don't really see the point of taming them besides like maybe using them to carry babies around and getting rare mushrooms, because apparently they're really good at getting rare mushrooms. And going around the map, they're pretty quick as well. But there's a bunch of other creatures that do it better than the Procoptodon. But they're still cool. I like the fact that they can carry the like baby creatures around with the pocket that they have on their belly. I think that's really cool. But besides that, they're just Pteranodons. Where is the Desmodeus? There he is. Put him under the Pteranodon. The Pteranodon is a pretty good creature. It does deserve to be an A tier. The only problem that I have with it is that it doesn't have a lot of weight, doesn't have a lot of stamina. I don't like how it controls. It's very directional. You can't back up, you can't move forward. But you can say the same for the RG right here. And you know, even Wyverns, they're like that too. But it for me, I don't know. The Pteranodon is fine, right? It's fine. But compared to like the flyers I will be comparing it to, it's the worst one. But it's not a bad option at the beginning of the game. It's the beginner flyer. They're useful for that. Pulmonos, you guys are just gonna go right there. You're actually better than this guy though. Perlavia, same thing. Actually, I think the Perlavia is kind of fucking annoying. So we're gonna put him under the Pulmono. Let's put you under the Pulmono. I think the Pulmono should be above the Nameless. Quetzal. Now these guys pre-cryopod, pre-extinction, they would have been up here. I still think they're kind of up here, but not really. I actually think I'm gonna put them below the Maywing. They're not that good anymore. They were the greats pre-extinction, but nowadays I don't really care about teaming a Quetzal anymore. I still like Quetzals, don't get me wrong. I think it's awesome to have a Quetzal, and I do want to. I do still use them, but like, I'm doing this for like the general, like I'm saying this for like general gameplay wise. Like you can just use a cryopod. You can carry an Inky using a Argent Davis, and you can carry an Inky inside of a cryopod. Take the Inky out, and then you know, use it like that, and then go back home, go back to base. It's just easier to do it that way, in my opinion, than taming a Quetzal nowadays. Also, Quetzals were used to actually carry Rexes back in the day. They were used to carry people used them to transport Rexes between obelisk to obelisk. So, but nowadays you don't really need to do that. You just, like, I can see them being useful in PvP because you can, you know, save time. Actually, no, not even. I think you can, I don't know though. I think they're still useful in PvP from what I remembered. But for PvE, they're not that useful because you can just cryopod them, all the Rexes, and just take them to the Ob, and there you go. You have all your Rexes over there. Raptor, I don't think it goes there. I think it actually goes maybe below the Arco. Below this guy, actually. That's perfect. Raptors are the best beginner carnivore. The problem is with raptors is that they don't have a lot of weight and all that. Well, the Carno, comparing it to the Carno has a decent amount of weight, but not like an amazing amount. And I think the Carnos are obviously stronger all around. The reason why I put it above the Carno though, because I could have put it here. I could have put it like right below these guys. You know, I'd be like, yeah, that's where the raptor goes. But the reason why I put it above or below the dino, what is it called, Deinonychus. The reason why I put it below the Deinonychus is because the thing is about the raptors, it's an icon, just like the Giga. Very iconic, in fact. These guys are practically the face of Ark. I mean, look at the box art of Ark Survival Wall with Helena riding on the raptor. They're literally the face of Ark Survival Wall. When I think of Ark, I think of that box art that has Helena riding on the raptor. So I think they deserve to be an S tier for that. Like when you think of Ark, you think of a raptor. Ravengers, I think they go under the direwolf personally. The direwolves are really strong. Ravengers are not that strong. They're actually surprisingly weak, in my opinion. But what makes Ravengers kind of special is that they actually have weight reduction on most resources. I don't know how many resources they have weight reduction on, but I know they're pretty good for beginner teams. As a beginner team on Aberration. Reapers, yeah, these guys are definitely going up there. I think they're gonna go under. Yeah, they're gonna go under the Giga. They're practically. Are they the Rex of Aberration? I don't think they're the Rex. I think they're actually more like the Giga. They're like the Giga of Aberration, really, if you really think about it. Terrifying way to obtain one. You need to get impregnated by a queen, which that is horrifying. It's actually kind of horrific to see it in game, but that's what you want, because you want a xenomorph, or not a xenomorph, a Reaper, because they're really fucking good. They do a lot of damage. They jump around the map really high. They're honestly really good in general. Like you can use these guys in like any map, and they're good. All right, the Rex. I mean, come on, this guy's the face of art. He's iconic, but not only that, he's so useful for boss fights. He literally, like, Rexes push you through the game. Like, without the T-Rex, I don't know what people will use against bosses. Spinos? Allos? You can't put these guys in boss arenas. Like, what would you use to fight bosses with? Like, the Rex is literally the face of Ark. You see him in every single, I mean, you sort of see him in every single, Ark official art. It's crazy. But not only that, they're just really useful in the game. They literally push you through the story of Ark. Like the Rex is the apex predator of Ark Survival Evolved. And I think the Rex is gonna stay. Actually, there's one creature, in my opinion, that is gonna go above the Rex. Man, the Rex is staying up here. Nothing is going above it. Rhino Gnatha. Or Rhino Gnafa. How the fuck you pronounce its name? Honestly, kind of with the Carcanos, but it's better than the Carcanos. Honestly, it's better than the Quetzal. I think it deserves an A tier. It's fucking useful. I have to admit, it's useful, even though I don't want to. These guys are horrifying to me, but they're useful. I have to admit to that. They can literally carry a T-Rex. I'm not even joking. They could literally carry around a T-Rex. Like, that's literally what the Quetzal used to do, but not in the way where, like, you carry it. Like, literally, I'm not even joking. You know how, like, an RG can just carry a Anki? These guys literally carry a Rex like that. It's nuts. They can also, actually, I think the biggest thing that they can carry is a Diplo. He can literally carry a Diplo. It's crazy. They also have like a bunch of other abilities, like they produce like resin and all that, and they use that resin to, like, you know, attack their enemies with. They like stick the resin on them, and like they do so much shit. It's like crazy. They have so many controls that they literally had to put a separate panel for like the amount of things that this guy can do. It's nuts. Which, by the way, they should have just done that for all the creatures in the game. Just have like let us have a separate panel like that where we can see the creature's abilities and what it can do. I think that would have been very useful. Yeah, he deserves to be above the Quetzal. Rock Drake. These guys are cool. I'm putting him with the Manic Armor, though I think the Manic Armor, yeah, the Manic Armor is better than the Rock Drake. I love Rock Drakes. They're so cool. They're really cool looking. They're also just really helpful in Aberration, and you can also kind of use them in other maps as well. Just not as, you know, useful as Aberration, because Aberration has so many cliffs, and because, you know, Aberration has like so many cliffs and all that, so they're not as useful as on other maps. Rock Elemental. Where do I put the Rock Elemental? I don't know. Honestly, maybe right here. I use the Rock Elemental. This is like my first time using it too, because I know these guys are kind of a pain in the ass to tame. I've used a Rock Elemental for the first time when I was trying all these creatures out. They're cool, but I'd rather just have an Anki, because these guys can actually harvest a shit ton of stone. Of course, I mean, they're literally called a Rock Elemental. They also use it to eat it. Like, they're just I think I think they're the best for bullet sponging in PvP though. Yeah, that's what I think about the Rock Elemental. It's just kind of, I don't really know how much to say about it. Honestly, we're getting towards like the creatures. Like, we're getting towards the end here. I'm kind of just trying to rush this, so I'm sorry if it feels very rushed, but we literally have how many creatures left? Like, we have like 37 creatures left. Well, these guys don't count. So 35 creatures. We literally have 35 creatures left. I just want to get through this. Roll rats. Their saddle's really cool. I like the fact that they can roll around and all that. They're good for harvesting wood, I'm pretty sure. You guys are solid. I think you guys are, honestly, I think they have weight reduction on the wood too. Honestly, I think I much prefer a roll rat than a fucking Casteroids or Casterides. Sabretooth. Kind of the same with the berry, where they're a really good caving creature. But not only that, they collect a lot of chitin. So I don't think as much as this guy though. I think this guy collects way more chitin. There's still like a really good creature for going into the caves and all that. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to tame a Sabertooth so bad in episode 3. Sabertooth, fish, or Sabertooth salmon. That's what they're called. They're better than coelacanth, I guess. They at least get prime fish meat. So Sarcos. No, I don't think they deserve to be in C. I think they deserve to at least be in low B. I think right here. The thing is about the Sarco is that we already have, for people who play Arkswell Ascended, you guys have the Dinosuchus. This guy is like 10 times better than the fucking Sarco. Like the Sarco is just like literally the Dinosuchus is literally what the Sarco should have been. It's that simple. Scout. I'm not gonna lie, you're on the same page as this motherfucker. Literally, I don't see the use of the Scout. It's kind of just like a thing to play around with. Like it's just, there's no point of getting a Scout. Seekers, you guys are on the same level as what should we call it? These guys are practically just the bats of aberration. Shadow Means, I would put Shadow Means up here, right? You're going above the Sabertooth, I think. I like Shadow Means, don't get me wrong, they're really good, and people probably would think that they deserve to be in S tier. I don't like how they feel. People would probably tell me to put them like here, but I don't like how they control or how they feel when I'm running around with them. I don't know what it is. They're so low on the screen. It's weird. I don't know why they feel so strange. But not only that, they're really OP. A little too OP for me. Not that I'm saying that, you know, it's a bad thing that they're OP, okay? They're from Genesis 2. They're obviously going to be OP. Every single new creature that was introduced in Genesis Part 2 was super OP. So it's expected. Sonoma Crops. These guys are my favorite shoulder pet. The fact that you can literally fly with them on your shoulder. You don't need to fly with a flyer. You can literally fly with them. Now, they're not the best at flying, but it's still really cool that you can do that. And you can shoot off of them, you can shoot off of it. You know, it's not like the fucking Archaeopteryx where, you know, you can't shoot while you're using it. You can literally shoot your gun with it. You can use them as a glider, like, you know the little glider that you can make in Aberration. Oh, you can use them like that as well. It's like what I would think Terraria wings would be like in 3D. That's how cool they are. They're so cool. I love the Sonoma Crops. They're awesome. They're the best. I'm telling you right now, this is the best shoulder pet. No other. If there's any other shoulder pets down here, which I don't think there is. Oh, the vulture. This is gonna be the best shoulder pet. Nothing's beating it. Snow owls. Tough choice, isn't it? I love snow owls in this game. They're really cool, but I think the RG is just slightly better because I don't think the snow owl I don't think the snow owl has any weight reduction on anything. I don't think it does any of that. But what's cool about it is that it's faster. It's slightly faster than the RG, but not only that, it does have a swooping ability. So like, you know how like the what's it called, like the diving ability, there you go, the dive. They have the diving ability, and that diving ability is pretty good on them because there's like a bug where like if you land on the ground before they cancel it on the ground, they actually like get like a big boost the next time you get back to flying. I'm pretty sure that's a bug. I don't think they never fixed that though, so it's weird. Snow owls are just fun. I like them a lot, but I think I would prefer using an RG I think the RG is better because it has like the weight reduction and all that, but the snow owl is just fun to like fly around with, and it's satisfying to fly around with. They also like do like a freezing ability where it heals your dinos. It also just freezes enemies as well, so that's really useful if you want to use it to get away from enemies. They're definitely an S tier creature. Spinos, I think you guys are gonna get an A. You guys are gonna be on the top of A. I like Spinos. They're kind of like the Rex, but they're more water based, and I didn't put them in S tier because they're again a very situational dino. They get a buff when they're in the water and they deal more damage, and I think they're faster and their attack speed is slightly faster too. I think they're really good for the Broodmother fight because the Broodmother has water in her arena. So if you don't want to use Megatheriums, you can definitely use Spinos for that fight, and they're pretty good at it. They're a little too big. They're a little big, so you're gonna have to find a way to fit them through the portal when you open up the portal to go fight the Broodmother. You have to find a way to fit them all in that circle, but they're really good. Stegos. You guys are iconic. I think I'd rather have an Iguanodon over a Stego though. No, I think the Stego deserves to be there. The Stego is a pretty good creature. I don't really use them that much because I don't see the point, but I acknowledge of how good they are in the early game. They can harvest wood. They're really good with harvesting wood. I don't think they do weight reduction on wood though, so that sucks. At least I think they don't. They harvest berries really well with one of their like plate modes, because they have like 3 different plate modes. They have the sharpening mode, the harden mode, and I think the heavy plate mode. I think those are the 3 different ones. I think the heavy one gets thatch more, the harder one gets wood more, and the sharpened one gets berries a lot more. I think they deserve to be above the Equus because the Equus is a good utility dino as well. But I think the Spino is just a lot better than the Equus. Striders, these guys are fucking OP. I think these guys are the most controversial in my opinion out of all the creatures in Genesis 2. They're not even like creatures, they're robots. They're mechanical shit. They're mechs. If you get the harvesting module with the storage rig one, that's it. Like you have the best Strider. If you get that combo, you got the greatest Strider of all time. The harvesting Strider is so fucking OP. It's not even funny. Like it makes these guys pointless. Like it makes all these creatures up here who are like gatherers and all that and harvesters pointless. And I honestly think that makes them go in B because they're cool, but like they break the game so hard. Like they really do. Like they're just broken, but at least they're only in Genesis, so that's the good thing about them, is that they're only in Genesis. Then again, you can bring them across maps, which is bad. That's bad. I think the Strider is just super fucking OP for that reason, and I'm not gonna put it in S tier because it kind of, for me, ruins the entire game a little bit. Like I want to use these creatures, I want to use these guys for their purposes, and for me the Tech Strider just kind of ruins that whole thing. All right, Tape Jara, you're going on top of the Pteranodon. I think the Tape Jara is just a better Pteranodon in my opinion. It can move backwards, it can move, you know, from side to side, unlike the Pteranodon, without turning your camera. It can latch onto walls. It's kind of the same thing as the Desmodeus or the Desmodus. I think that's what that guy is named. The Desmodus is just the Tape Jara but better, so that's why he's under the Desmodus. Terror birds are pretty fun. I think I put them higher than the Gigantopithecus. I think they're pretty fun, I'm not gonna lie. Though I would never really tame them that much. They're fun, and they're a great beginner team because they can actually glide with their little fucking wings. I don't know how they do it, but it's pretty cool. I have to admit, it's pretty fire. They're Xenos. I think you guys deserve to be an S tier. Yeah, I think the Theory deserves to be an S tier. Maybe right next to the Diabear, honestly. Honestly, you can switch in between these two. Honestly, they're really helpful. Their Xeno is the ultimate gatherer. The only problem is that he doesn't have weight reduction on anything. But that doesn't matter because he's so good at harvesting everything. Like he harvests literally everything. He harvests fucking fiber, thatch, wood, fucking hide. He harvests hide, chitin really well. He harvests all those things really well. It's just a good all-around creature. Thorny Dragon. Okay, in Scorched Earth, they're useful. Right, regular arc, they're not that great. So I think I'm gonna put them, they're not like amazing. They're cool, but they're not amazing. So I think I'm gonna put them above the Parasaur. I think that's my choice. They're the wood gatherers of Scorched Earth. So if you need wood, tame a, you know, thorny dragon. Thylas, that's where I think a Thyla should be. It should be right on top of the raptor. Thylas are so good for caving, doing all that. Thylas are amazing. I think they're awesome. Obviously, over the years, we have just been using Thylas to go cave exploration. So it does get a little repetitive, but they're still amazing. You have to admit, like, they're probably the best like carnivore, like medium size to like smallish size carnivore in the game. Personally, I think Dinosuchuses, or not Dinosuchuses, Deinonychuses, I have no idea. I personally think that Deinonychus is better than the Thyla. I like these guys more. I don't know, I love them. They're so cool. I love Thylas. I think everybody does. I think everybody can safely say that the Thyla is an iconic creature. They're just a great creature. Titanoboas, I do not see the point of taming them. Now that the kibble system has changed, there's no point in taming them. They're annoying too. I think Titanoboas are sort of annoying in the caves. So these guys are also annoying. Though, where is the, yeah, you can be up there. You can be above these guys. I think these guys are more annoying than these guys. Titanosaur. So I know for PvP, probably PvP players are gonna put them up here, or maybe even up here. For me, as a PvE player, I'm putting them right there. I don't see the point of taming them since I'm a PvE player, but I know for PvP players, these guys are really fucking useful for raiding bases and all that. They're basically the raid dino. They're the strongest dino in the game. But I feel like since if you're gonna play PvE, they're the most useless one, because you can't take them to boss fights. I don't see the point of taming a Titanosaur in PvE. You can build a platform saddle, but it's gonna fucking die eventually, so what's the point? I don't care about it. Also, you can't get, you know, level 180, level 150s or whatever. It's always locked on the lowest level, which is understandable. They do a lot of fucking damage. I understand their uses, but I'm never gonna tame them ever again, or I'm never gonna tame one. Triceratops, you're a pretty good starting creature to get berries. Where should I put you though? I think I'll put you right next to the Castor. I'll put you under the Casterides. You're gonna be under that. I think they deserve to be under the Casterides because they do harvest thatch and they harvest a lot of berries. That's basically it. There's gonna be a certain point where you're just not gonna use them. Yeah, that's how I feel about the Triceratops, is that they're a great beginner team. They're an amazing one actually, but at some point they're just gonna get outclassed by a mammoth or something like that. Trilobite, they're actually they're pretty good for getting Cayenne at the beginning. If you want Cayenne armor like from the start, you just kill a couple of Trilobites. But they're gonna stay in because you can't tame them. I mean, you can tame them, I think, with the fish crate. Can you tame them or not? I don't know if you can tame it or not. Troodons, I know they're really good when tamed, but they're fucking annoying, man. Like, I think Troodons are annoying as shit. They're annoying as hell. And you're going below these guys. You're fucking annoying. You're going down here. You're just annoying. Especially in episode 3, dude. They fucking killed my saber tooth. Like, fuck you guys. You guys are assholes. Tropiophanagus, or Tropiophanagus, however you pronounce its name. It's going above the Desmodeus, or Desmodus. Isn't Desmodeus the guy, what Helena became at the end of Extinction or some shit like that? I don't know what the fuck happened at the end of Extinction. I have to really pay attention. These guys are, in my opinion, the best medium-sized flyer, besides the RG, of course. I don't know. I like the Tropiophanagus. They're pretty cool. I like them because they have a little fucking, they're like a literal goddamn jet. Their saddle turns them into a fucking jet. And that's cool. They can literally shoot rockets and all that. That's fucking dope. So yeah, I like the Tropiophanagus just for that. I think they're better than the Desmodus. Turkey. You're gonna go right next to the Jerboa because you're funny. You're funny. Toothus. This guy is so good, man. He's the only underwater creature that is in S tier because I think he's the best one. He is the only one, right? Yeah, he's the only one. The Tuso is just the best underwater creature. It can grab onto things. It can eat them while they're grabbed on. Their taming method is pretty scary because you have to make your creature get grabbed and feed black pearls to it. That's pretty scary. And I like that about the Tuso. I like the taming method of it. It's cool. It's awesome. So unicorn, I mean, it's just an Equus, but you know, it's just a fucking Equus. It's an Equus skin. I don't need to say much. Velonosaur, these guys used to be cool. All right, they used to be cool, but they got nerfed significantly, and now they're just good. They're not amazing. They're just good now. But they're still in A tier, in high A tier, because just the fact that they can literally shoot these little needles, and it's literally like, it's basically a dinosaur as a fucking machine gun. That is sick, and they're cool looking too. They look really sick. I like the Velonosaurs. Void worms, I'm not gonna lie, these guys are really underwhelming. I'm putting them here because they're basically a wyvern, a tech wyvern, but they're really underwhelming. Like I thought they were gonna be a lot more stronger. We'll talk about them when we get to the wyvern. Vulture, they're actually, the vulture just reminded me, I think the Desmodus, from what I remembered, I think the Desmodus actually harvests spoiled meat, or when it harvests something, it converts the meat into spoiled meat or some shit like that. That's cool. That was I randomly thought about that with the vulture because I know you have to tame the vulture with spoiled meat. Besides, they're kind of fucking useless. They're kind of just like another Dimorphodon, but the Dimorphodon is just its cooler brother, in my opinion. Woolly rhinos, I actually really love these guys. I'm gonna put you under or maybe above. I'm gonna put you above the Triceratops, though. I think they're a lot of fun. They basically serve the same purpose as the trike. The trike is cool looking, but I kind of like how cute these guys look. I don't know what it is. They just look kind of cute to me. But also, they do a shit ton of fucking damage. Like, oh my god, I didn't expect them to do that much damage. Wyverns are going below the crystal wyvern, and this guy is going below the regular wyverns. Here's the reason why. At least with the wyverns, they actually do damage, while this guy, he doesn't do damage, but he does stun enemies. So I think if you're a PvP player, this guy will go above these guys. But I'm not a PvP player, and I just kind of find them a bit useless. Honestly, I might put them way below. Like, I might put them like maybe here, or like maybe here. Like, I just like, I don't find them useful at all. They're just a worse wyvern in my opinion. They're cool looking. Like, honestly, you might go down here. Like, you're cool looking, but like, what the hell's the point? Like, I guess just to get a wyvern in Genesis 2. Well, cool, I guess, but it fucking sucks. Yeah, the regular wyverns are 10 times better than the void worm. My favorite one out of the regular wyverns is the poison one. Actually, I actually like the poison one, even though it's very risky to use. And just in terms of style, like how the poison wyvern looks, I like. In terms of like damage output, I mean, everybody loves the lightning wyvern, so I like it too. I also do like the fire wyvern. I think all of them, including the ice wyvern, are great. Like, they're great creatures to have. I still prefer the tropical wyverns because they deal more damage, or not that they deal more damage. They're faster. They're a lot quicker, and I like that for my my mounts, is for them to be quicker, like getting around the map and all that, because you have to do that a lot in Arc. You have to fly around the map a lot, and I think having crystal wyverns be quicker than regular wyverns just makes them automatically better in my opinion. I don't know how to fucking pronounce his name. Let me look it up. Is it Zifactinus? Is that how you pronounce it? Zifactinus? Zifactinus. Yeah, okay, it's Zifactinus. I actually got that perfect. Like, the Zifactinus. These guys are actually kind of cool. I'm gonna put them above the Megalodon, I think. Actually, no, yeah, they're above the Megalodon. They could do a lot of damage when they're in packs, and no, I don't. They're fast though. I'm gonna put them above the Megalodon. They're pretty cool. Scary too. Also goofy when they're out of the water. They just start flopping around outside of the water. It's funny. They have like a little like boost in the water. That's cool. I think they make dinosaurs or they make creatures bleed. I think that's what they do. They make creatures bleed and all that. It's nuts. I like the Zafactinus. Yeti. These guys just cause problems, man. Like they just cause problems. Where do I put you? I guess above the Troodon, I guess. I mean, you guys just cause problems. And the fucking snow caves and all that. Fuck you. And the final creature, the Yutyrannus. I might get hate for that, but let me explain. I love these guys IRL. They are so fucking cool. I love Yutyrannus IRL, and I love them just as much in game. It literally makes my dream come true of riding a Yutyrannus IRL. I love them. They're literally just a fluffy Rex. I also just they're the best for boss fights too. You need a Yutyrannus to fight the bosses. It's awesome. I love the Yutyrannus. I don't care what anyone says. I love this motherfucker. He's so cool. I like how he buffs the dinos. Like, that's so cool. He buffs their damage. That's fucking awesome. And he also has the fear roar and all that. It's just, I love them. They're so cool. But yeah, that's like what, almost 5 hours of footage. Holy shit. Look at this list. Oh my god. I want to download this. Wow. That is so crazy. Look how many fucking creatures are in this game, dude. That's nuts. Wow. Alright. I'm finally done with this shit. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and again, thank you so much for 100 subscribers. Also, I have a little clip at the end of the video of, like, after the outro. There's a little clip at the actually no, I might actually just show you guys it right now. I might just show you guys it right now. So when I accidentally deleted the folder of all my ARC stuff, I actually still had some of the recordings from the last few dinos here, and I actually did something really special at the end that I want to show you guys. So I'm gonna play that clip right now. Past me is gonna show you something absolutely insane. So here's the clip. Oh my god, this is gonna be nuts. Okay, I literally have, well, not literally, but I have every single creature that I have that's here. It's not all of them because the first attempt of me trying to do this, while spawning them all in, or you know, soul balling them in, one of the creatures that were around here attacked them, and the Titanosaur that I spawned was like somewhere around there, and it got attacked and it killed some of them, but it's fine. We're gonna do it like this now. So I just want to see. I just want to see this. Oh my god! Holy shit! Oh, they're not all going after it though. Guys, go! Holy fuck! Oh, I hope the game doesn't crash. Oh, I hope the game doesn't crash. Oh, the game's definitely gonna crash. I hope it doesn't crash back. Oh, my game's lagging. Holy shit! Why is the mech not going? Go get him! Oh my god! Holy shit! I'm just waiting for like a huge, massive text. Oh my god, he's getting destroyed. He's getting fucking destroyed, yo. Damn. It's crazy. I mean, I was kind of expecting that, but like, damn, I wasn't expecting it to be that fast. Mech didn't do jack shit. Actually, like, some of the smaller creatures actually survived. Like the Thyla over here. I was not expecting you to survive, buddy. I guess I might put this at the end of the video. I just want to say to everybody, also, if you heard music in the background and like everything was in the background, that's because I have my shit on the speaker, because I don't know why I'm wearing my headphones. I don't need to wear them. But yeah, I just want to say to all of you, thank you so much for watching. This might have been like the, oh shit, oh my god, okay. This might have been the biggest video that I've made. If it does come out, I hope it does come out, but I'm pretty sure, oh my god, one of the ribbons died. I didn't even notice that. If this video does come out, which I'm pretty sure it's going to, because I spent so much time on this, I just want to say thank you again for 100 subs. My god, this is fucking crazy. Jesus Christ. I wanted to check all the creatures out because I wanted to do something just like this. Like, I wanted to just take all the creatures that I've used and like tried out and like kill a titanosaur with it. Can't do a boss because I can't, you know, I mean, I'm pretty sure I could probably try to spawn a boss, but I don't know what that's gonna do to the game, so I'm not gonna do that. So many fucking creatures around here, bro. It's nuts. But yeah, this has been one hell of a fucking video to make. So please like and subscribe, you know, comment, do whatever you gotta do. I haven't even edited it yet, by the way. I haven't even edited this shit yet, so I'm going to see how long it takes. I don't know if it's gonna come out on like anytime soon, so I don't know. But anyways, like what I said, again, like, comment, subscribe, whatever you gotta do. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.